Hey everybody, Scott Holden here. Before we get started with the show, I just want to take a minute to tell you where you can find us out on the interwebs. That's right. First, you can find us at ThatManOnFatman.com. That's right, ThatManOnFatman.com. It's the central hub and the place where you can find links to all the other stuff I'm about to tell you about. So we're on Twitter. You can find us there at ThatManOnFatman. We are also on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, so it's facebook.com/ThatManOnFatman. We're also on YouTube. On YouTube, you can find us at youtube.com/ThatManOnFatman podcast. We are also on Instagram, where we're ThatManOnFatman. And I believe we're even on, Snapchat, as ThatManOnFatman. So you can pretty much find us on ThatManOnFatman everywhere on the internet. Please friend us. Also, if you're an iTunes subscriber, please go and give us a review. It's very helpful. It's one of the best things you can do for any show that you enjoy. So leave us a review on iTunes. If you listen on Stitcher, we're also there. We're also on SoundCloud. So check those out, and we appreciate it. And now, we hope you enjoy the show.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom. For creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So yes, you absolutely did the right thing. If I mean, you know, I know it's kind of gross for me to be like, yes, doing a Kevin Smith podcast was fucking smart. Yeah. But I do feel like it was smart. I appreciate it. I think you were right to do that.
Okay. What has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
What are we going to do about the Pancake Master?
We need a costumed vigilante is what we need. Justice can't be served unless it's being fought outside the system.
Here's what we're going to do, eh?
Oh, shit. It's ThatMan. Who is he? He's ThatMan. He's talking. What should we do?
Oh, there he goes by in the Thatmobile.
The what? Thatmobile, his car. Go get him, ThatMan.
Well, once upon a time, a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit, written by old Kev Smith. Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts. Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around. So I created a new show with one heck of a plan, and I'd call that show ThatMan on Fatman, because we're going to chat about Kevin Smith. That's right, let's talk about old Kev Smith. Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode 2-24? Episode 2-24 of ThatMan on Fatman. I am Scott Holden. Here with me in the That Cave is none other than producer extraordinaire and co-host Gene Holden.
Hi, guys.
And boy,
Yay.
Before we go anywhere in the Smed lines, we have our own Smed lines. We have so much cool stuff to discuss. But first, in case you have not heard via social media, we made a big announcement this morning, and that is that we can say to the world that the documentary film project that we're working on, Gene and I and other people, Bob Hawke and Dave Madison and all these other folks.
Many others.
Yes. We can now announce that Kevin Smith has agreed to be in the film.
Yes, he has.
So he is on board and fully in the project. And we so much so that he has also given us permission to reveal that he is part of the project. Because, boy, we had a fucking amazing night last night.
It was. And it was
this is
funny.
going to be one of those shows, folks. We're going to fanboy out and kind of scoop you as to all the stuff that went on last night that was so incredible.
I didn't really go in with a lot of expectations. Like it kind of seemed like it was just kind of going to go just the way it was going to go.
Yeah,
but I'm glad it went the way it did. It was
funny because earlier in the evening, I had brought the guts of the old 8-ball we had in the studio before we got the new 8-ball, and which is essentially a 20-sided die.
Yeah.
So it's like a party game that you could play. And man, we were in this restaurant. We were not a restaurant.
We were in
like
Caroline's.
No, this was before. We were just like in a little deli or.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
We were in a little grocery store, but it had like tables you could sit at. We were just hanging out there. Yeah, I had a Red Bull.
I had a water. Yeah,
I was being like Mr. Jason Mewes.
It was hot. It was hot that night.
Yeah, it was a hot evening. Nice weather though.
It was pretty. I mean, it was just like walking. It made you like really hot. Mm-hmm. Because we walked a bunch.
Yeah, well, we parked. Oh, let's not get into wacky details like that.
Boring.
See, and that's the funny thing, like people who are from the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, because they get very into talking about parking in the city, and traffic, and anyway, let's not go down this rabbit hole.
Yes,
we've already gone too far. We have Kev talk here.
Yes, we do.
We had such an
night.
So all right. So we're sitting in a restaurant, or we're sitting in that place. I don't even know why. Oh, yeah. And I busted out the 20-sided, and I said to Jean, unsolicited, I tried to provoke her to just ask a yes-no question as if I was trying to say, as if you were asking an 8-ball without asking. But eventually got to it, and she said something about, are we going to get to hang out with Kevin Smith after the show tonight? Or something like that, right? And then I rolled that it was like, my sources say no, or whatever the fuck. It was pretty blunt. And then
it's kind of rough.
Okay, now, so if you know anything about statistically about an 8-ball, the way it works is statistically there are more positive answers than negative ones.
Okay.
And I believe there might even be more ambiguous ones than negative ones, but I'm not quite sure. So the odds of rolling like a lot of negatives in a row aren't good. And we rolled, we asked three questions, and it was like 3 bad answers. And I'm like, shit, our luck sucks tonight. This is going to be a rotten night.
Because most of them are positive? I guess so, yeah.
Well, the odds are that there are greater odds that you get a positive response or an ambiguous one.
Yeah, which
like
is
ask
better,
again later.
Which is better than a negative, because at least it gives you hope.
Yes.
There's
Meanwhile,
some sort
it's
of
an
hope
8-ball.
involved. I know. But I got to tell you, the night didn't turn out like that.
Reply hazy.
Yeah, that's sucky.
All right, anyway. So that sort of set a certain tone maybe in the back of my mind, the superstitious side that was like, it's going to be a crappy night.
Oh, my God.
But let's see. We were really proven wrong very quickly because we bumped into, as we walked down the street, who did we run into?
Oh, Celeste and Peggy.
Yep. And it was so funny because I saw them coming. I think we put our arms out and started going,
I was
hey.
like going, hey.
And they just didn't even notice us until we were practically right on top of them.
It was so cool.
Yeah, and I almost expected Jay Miller just to come walking around.
I know.
Because we always seem to bump into him.
And then we say his name, he just is right there.
Yeah, and I said it even 3 times and didn't appear. I said, Jay Miller, Jay Miller, Jay Miller. He wasn't there. So, I don't know what happened.
But that was fun, because that was a nice distraction, because we had a time to wait
Yeah, yeah.
reservations.
Yeah, we were
That was
there
really
early.
nice.
We had 5:45
Yeah,
dinner
they,
appointment. And think right now, what time is it? Well, new show, the next show tonight's show is about to start. Yeah.
That'll be
So
cool
somewhere
fun.
people are going crazy.
Have fun, guys.
Wonder if anyone's going to bring up the Hitchbot question.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
I just Hitchbot is hilarious, and I think the story of that thing being destroyed is hilarious. And I wonder.
I love the idea of him, but the fact that he got destroyed in America sucks.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Do you have any respect?
I mean, that's the ultimate thing, though. I mean, what do they expect?
I know, but I mean, we all know it's not a human, but have some compassion for the person who built it.
Boy, I'd love to see the remains just so I could shine a black light on them. To see how many people fucked it.
Oh, come on.
All right, so moving on from
we have to go
Yeah,
to primal instinct.
Well, that's what
with
Kevin
the
was doing.
robot.
All right, so finally we get to Caroline's last night. I mean, it was a big to-do night. Now, I have to say to the listening audience, we have actually known that Kev was in the film for about a week, maybe a little less, somewhere in there. We've known for a good amount of days, and it has been. I mean, the way we work things like that is we share that information with the crew, people in the crew and people who are participating in the film.
That know that it's...
And we ask them, to keep that to themselves.
Just between us.
Until such time as we know we can announce it. Right. Because we weren't sure. We always like to get confirmation that they don't mind us promoting on them, essentially.
So I got my chance and I asked him...
Well, anyway, you're jumping way ahead. So we had responded after we knew, that Kevin was going to be in the movie. We responded to Ashley, but with him traveling, answers don't come as rapidly as one would wish.
Yeah.
And so, who knew what was going to happen? But we got to the show, and let's see, we had dinner reservations at 5:45, so we got in, then, like, the 8 ball seemed to be proven wrong.
It was.
Because we went right to a nice table. Dinner flowed nice and easy.
Yeah, it was good, too.
Yeah, like the courses seemed to come right when we needed them. And, we had just enough.
It was just enough. It wasn't over.
Yeah, the onion rings were a little over. Yeah, we could have not got the onion rings.
I loved them.
You know what I wish we'd done? I wish we'd gotten fries instead. Because we ended up not getting anything that would have fries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So that would have been a better hors d'oeuvre. Because
with fries, with like...
the onion rings were a little too...
like meal-like?
No, a little too wilty for me. Like a little too like... The batter part fell off way too fast.
They were light, though. They weren't like really heavy. That's why they were good.
Anyway. All right, so...
But French fries...
We're critiquing onion rings and...
French fries with honey mustard would have been perfect. So next time, that will be our...
That'll be our horse duvers.
Our horse duvers.
Yes. All right. So.
But what a nice food. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and dinner was paced nice, and then and the next thing you know,
the service was very good.
They're calling our number, which is like if you get dinner there. So
it was
folks out there,
our number was 18.
Who want to get to a good show? Want to see a show. Kevin's playing at Caroline's. I mean, it's a very basic tip. Get dinner reservations. Yeah, you got to buy dinner, but it's not that bad. But here's the deal: you get in, and you get better seats.
You do.
You get the pink row, the pink area, as opposed to the green.
We got pink, and then there was a green before us.
Or no, not green. Blue. It was the back.
Yeah.
Blue is general admission, pink is dinner, and green is VIP.
Right.
So, and green is the
I
full
was fine
front.
With ours.
Area.
I mean, even people that were
full
probably going to tell everybody about. I don't want to spoil it. They were sitting there too.
Oh wait, yeah. So, okay, so
it
in our area,
the same area.
Yeah, it worked out very well.
Pretty great.
Yes. So we got seated pretty early, and like within the first 2 groups, and got our spots, and then there was a woman next to us.
Yes.
Who was very friendly, very, just smiled and very chatty. And as the evening, as we sat there longer, of course, people just start to talk. And so she was sitting next to Gene, and Gene can be a chatterbox. So Next thing you know, these two were getting it on like a house on fire, and
Donna.
So Donna
Turner.
And she is so much fun and so cool to talk to. And we're going to have her on the show because she is just one of those old school fans who's just been into the View Askew universe for, a long while. And, like one of those persons that's like Kevin knows on sight and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
Kevin was like, hey.
And she's just got some really cool stories and is just a really interesting person. We can't wait to get her on here. So look forward to that in the future. She was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad we got to sit next to her.
She was. I'm glad we got to meet.
And then, so we're all sitting there, and it's now we've broken the ice. So we're hanging out with Donna and having a good time. And who should we see coming at us up the aisle? Again, as Gene pointed out, in the dinner row.
The dinner row.
The dinner reserve table row.
Yes.
But an older woman.
I noticed her before.
She had a walker, right?
No, she did not have a walker.
But she was just moving very slowly.
She was just moving slow. I mean, she looked great.
And right behind her was a very attractive woman who was taller, dark hair, and I recognized almost instantly, especially as soon as she said something.
Yeah.
And the woman, of course, as soon as she became close. And the only reason that I double-taked and wasn't sure if it was her, and we're talking about Grace Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
The only was because Grace Smith looked better than, I guess she looked good. I mean, she looked younger than I thought she was.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah, she looked good. I mean, she looked
good.
Yeah. And then to hear, Virginia, which is Kevin's sister, start talking. Now, folks, I am such a big fan of A Peephole History, Highlands of Peephole History. So I can't tell you how many times I've fallen asleep to Virginia Smith, to Don Smith, to Kevin, and to his mom. So, that was a really, really cool moment for me. And so they went by, they said very nice things. I remember saying to Virginia, I said, you were great in Clerks. And she goes, wow, nobody remembers I was in it. I'm thinking to myself, you don't know who the fuck you're talking to here. But
was his brother there too?
I believe so. But we weren't introduced. But you weren't, I wasn't sure exactly who was who. But when I said, okay, remember there was 3 in a row? It was Grace, then Virginia, then there was a gentleman on the inside with dark hair.
Yeah.
I think that was Don. Because
I thought Don was at the end, across from her.
No, I think that may have been Don's partner or husband.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't want to start to speculate because the other side of the table, I am not sure. At no point was I properly introduced, except for I think one was their aunt. So the woman in the middle was an aunt, or on the side there was an aunt.
I think the guy at the end. I think the guy at the end next to Kevin's sister. That was her husband. I'm sure.
No, I don't think so. I think that was Kevin's brother, and here's why. Okay. Let me continue with the story.
God.
Again, and I regret. I wish, I clarified the
crazy conversation.
I just wish I clarified the introduction. But
yes.
So they say nice things as they walk by, and they go to their table, which is it's 2 tables down and up. So we're sort of seated against the back wall tables, if anyone knows. So they're it's like a booth along the wall, and directly behind us is the front of house soundboard. So directly behind us is the soundboard. So that gives you an idea of where we are. So we're pretty much center stage, right in front of the soundboard. And just 2 tables down in front of us in this riser area is now Kevin's family. So it's Grace Smith, it's his sister, I believe is his brother, and a few other relatives. And at a point or another, Jen and or Harley came by, so
I missed that.
Yeah,
that's when
you
I decided
did miss
to go
that.
to the bathroom.
That was. It's funny. It's
that
true.
Stinks.
Anyway, so
that stinks.
yeah, I know.
I would have said something. I would have said, Jen, it's nice to meet
I
you.
did, but I don't think she heard me, and she's got all kinds of stuff going on, and
Yeah,
you kind of feel weird. So
I know.
I would have felt better if you were there,
I would have said it.
because it's
Jen,
easier
nice
to
meet
introduce
you.
yourself to a
My name is
woman
Jen.
when you have when there's a woman
Yeah.
with you. You feel less threatening. I think you're less threatening.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So where was I? So Kevin's family's over in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Now, along the at some point, like I look over my shoulder, and who do I see but Ming?
Yeah.
And so there's Ming, like in the sound, in the soundboard area, setting up the recorder. And I'm like, holy shit, Ming! And then, he shakes my hand, and we're talking, and I make a joke. I'm like, hey, Ming, you want to be in a movie? And he goes, and he goes, yeah, I heard. And they said something. Did you guys make enough money though? I said, don't worry about the money. Like the plan was always to roll forward regardless of Indiegogo.
Uh-huh.
We've always. The plan was always to make the movie.
Right.
So then the sound guy came over
Oh yeah.
and he was talking with him. And so I dropped out of the conversation, but I had my recorder out and I was, kind of trying to set up a good angle. And so I guess the sound guy, I kind of witnessed this. The sound guy said to Ming, is that going to be loud or whatever? And I heard Ming say to him something to the effect of, and I'm summarizing, oh, it's okay. He's, part of the club or whatever. And he looked over at me and he smiled when he said it purposefully. Shit, he might have even winked. But he definitely purposely smiled and nodded at me when he said it, like,
How cool.
letting me know, like in a sense, showing me that, he'd waved the blessing.
Yeah.
So,
That
yeah.
he
and
trusted, that he trusted.
Yeah, and I
your
thought that was very
judgment.
cool
Yeah.
because,
Oh, they bet.
I have to say, since the Zen librarian thing, I've never been quite sure how Ming has felt about us. So,
Yeah.
we had a bit of a falling out with the Zen librarian. Although, I don't even know if you call it as falling out because we never had a falling in. That's really what happened.
I know. It was like falling.
But it just felt like, it's always felt like there's been some sort of weird angst.
Yeah.
But anyway. I sound like a Monty Python sketch.
A really bad Monty Python.
Well, I'm functioning on very little sleep.
I know
That
you
is the
are,
truth.
sweetie.
That is
We
the
didn't
truth.
really sleep much last night.
Yeah.
I was so happy when I came home. Now I'm off tomorrow.
All right.
I get to see Kevin.
Let's.
Yay!
All right. So that was the little Ming moment. That was, again, one of those like,
Yeah.
wow, that was kind
And
of
then we got
cool and very
pictures.
magical.
Didn't we get a picture?
Very
I got
magical.
I got another picture with Ming.
Yeah, you got a very good picture with him.
Yeah, it was very good.
So,
He takes a nice picture.
yeah, he can't get next to those ladies fast enough to take pictures.
He's
Let's
very
face it.
sweet.
Shit. What was I going to say? So we went for Ming. Yeah. So we're sitting there, and the show still hasn't begun yet. It's probably around, we're probably like 5 minutes past when the show should have. Maybe it was like 7:35, 7:40, somewhere in there. And I was like, you know what? And the whole time I had been looking over at Grace and Virginia and thinking, God, you know what? I really want to, tell them that, what they sort of mean to me without being
Right.
creepy.
I didn't even know it was her. I kind of had a feeling it was, but did you know it was her the whole time?
Yeah, that's why I said.
Yeah.
Didn't you hear me when I said to her, you were great in Clerks? Yeah. She masturbated caged animals for a living or whatever the hell it was. As she was buying a beef jerky.
Kevin's mom was in it too. She was a milkmaid.
Yes, she was the milkmaid. That's right. Oh, damn it. Now I wish I had Clerks with me. I could have both of them sign it. Fuck me. How did I not have my copy of Clerks? I guess I start to think that, I think I got everyone's signature on that one. But I guess I don't. You see, you don't think about it until you have these moments. Always travel with Clerks. Always travel with the Clerks Blu-ray. Always travel with the Clerks Blu-ray.
That's true. You're gonna get another chance.
Yeah.
His mom is very supportive and adores him. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
All right. So yes, that was very clear. And the whole family
That's
did.
so sweet.
But so I finally get up the gumption, and of course you guys were both egging me on and saying, "Yeah, go for it, do it." And I said, well, if I go over there, can you guys be ready to take a picture? Because I don't know how many shots we're going to have at this. I didn't want to be all awkward. So everyone was on board. Now, another thing everyone should know, the Carolines, they dampen the wireless feed so nobody can get out. You can't get out of Carolines while you're in that show. When you're in that place, they kill the wireless feed.
Right. So
I guess it's to protect comedians, I guess broadcast out their bits or whatever.
Yeah.
But
they don't want anybody stealing their
I assume that's what it's for.
Their act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which case, and maybe, to keep people, from fucking using their cell phones during the show and all that kind of stuff.
That can be distracting, I'm sure.
Meanwhile, they're going to Kevin Smith's show where it's like fucking people just go up online and ask to take pictures.
I know. And people get up and he's like, hey.
All right.
He's like,
all right. So I finally get up the gumption. You guys, I go over and I talk to Grace and I sort of aim at them because those are the ones I clearly know. And I said, I'm sorry, I really hate to interrupt, but I just want to say something. I essentially say what I said before. I am a huge fan of this podcast that you guys are frequently on, and I can't tell you how many times I fall asleep, to your voices. And then this is why I think it was done. And I said, particularly, Virginia and Don. And then they both kind of looked over at him. And then this is why I think that the other guy was his husband, because he joked with the other gentleman about, like, that means that someone falls asleep, someone else falls asleep listening to him talk or something like that.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of that kind of rib. So, but at no point did they formally introduce, I'm Don.
Okay, so you actually experienced.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Now, that all said, then, now they could have been referring to him. I don't know. I never got it really clear, so I never felt comfortable enough to say for sure.
Right.
And because of where everybody was in the table, because it's a 3-deep table up against another, you don't want to, if you're going to get a picture, it became difficult logistically.
Right.
So, I decided the best way to do it was to crouch next to Grace, and then you go in behind, and then
worked.
and it worked great. And so we got a great picture with
those are gorgeous pictures
with Grace.
What light they have in there.
And Virginia. And again, I have to say, I mean, and it probably has to do with the fact that she's Kevin's sister, but she's kind of hot.
She is.
She's really cute. I mean, let's think. She's Kevin's older sister, and she looked great. She looked younger than many people in that room.
It's true.
So, I have to say.
You have the hots for Kevin's sister?
I guess I do, yeah. I'm sure it's a Kevin thing. I'm sure it's like,
you're related.
You gotta have the hots. You gotta have the hots for your hero sister.
Is that like incest or something?
No, it wouldn't be anything at all. And she's from Asia too, so I believe she lives somewhere in Asia. So China, Japan, somewhere. Korea. I'm not sure where. I forget. I think Japan.
Why?
It has to do with what she does and what her family does. Yeah. So that might.
I remember what she did.
That might be why she was here, and perhaps not her family, not the rest of her family.
Didn't Kevin tell us what she did?
I forgot.
Oh, I could have sworn I knew.
It'll come to me. But right now, that's not as important as all that other stuff.
I know.
And again, that turned out to be another moment of great timing because we got that done and then got back to our seats, and within moments, it
was great.
Kevin began the show.
And we held up our little sign.
Yeah, we held. The people next to us had brought one of those happy birthday banners.
Yeah.
Like the.
And I got all twisted.
The stringy banners, and then
like
there was no organization to what we were supposed to do with it.
It was all twisted.
It was just like, let's unravel it, and then we'll get up and we'll just shake it.
Shake it though, you can't see it.
But meanwhile, like I'm 6'2", you ladies are all like 5'4" and whatever. Anyway, so it was a little messy.
That was funny.
But it was the thought that counted.
It is.
We'd also brought a gift for Kevin.
Yes.
Which I will reveal now to the audience what it was after I take a sip.
I'm sure he loved it.
I hope so.
I wanted him to open his gifts on stage.
I didn't see him doing that. You could have asked him to open it.
That could have been my question. Oh, that would have been a great question.
Hey, what's my gift? Why don't you open it? The other great question would have been Hitchbot.
Did
you hear about Hitchbot? And you came over and asked me about some weird thing. I'm like, why would you even go there?
Because I love that movie.
That was so off base. Like that bad opportunity. I knew we had better questions, and that's why I couldn't. And I was like, why would you go there?
Yeah.
What about Hitchbot?
I did okay though.
But I forgot to remind you about Hitchbot.
I just wanted to thank him because he's changed.
Yeah. So, maybe I can play that as part of the episode.
What?
I can insert you talking to Kevin at this point right now. No, that wouldn't be good yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Funny.
Soon, though.
I did good. You guys will be proud of me.
All right, hang on, folks. So, yeah, then, so the show starts, Kev comes out, does the usual, he tells, the first story he told, which one did he tell? Because it was a recent one. Oh, he told the Star Wars story. He told the story of Hall H and, being abandoned. And
yes.
And, added some new elements to it. It was cool.
It was fun.
We knew it. But I have to say, it seemed like there was a lot of first-time Kev show people there. He even asked how many people have come to a live show before. I think that was the question he asked. Yeah, Q&A before, and there was a lot of responses from people who had never been.
It's cool.
Yeah, so that was first time. Why was that so important?
I don't know.
Oh, I guess because how people, like you and I know, well, I know for sure. I now am very familiar with the Hall H experience story.
Right.
So, what I did during that period was concentrate on filming them. So I had my Zoom Handycam going the whole time.
It's so cool that Ming was like, "Hey, that's all right."
Yeah, and that gets good sound. The video isn't great, but it's not known for its video, but it gets great sound.
It does sound good.
But the other thing that was cool, or that was funny, Kev did 4 hours. He did really 4 hours when you think about it. He came out about 8:15.
And he talked. That's right.
And he talked until about 8:15 midnight.
Wow.
So he did 4 hours. Now, little did I know, that age, I've never had to run it this long, so I never knew how long the batteries would have to go the distance.
But I guess
so I went there with fresh batteries. It takes 2, to run it.
Right.
And there's no moving parts. It's just a video recorder that goes, sound recorder goes right to an SD card. I had a very high speed SD card in, so no lag, no issues. And it's the same SD card we were going to be using to film our movie on, as a matter of fact. But so we were rolling video. So I had plenty of space too. It's a huge card, but fucking damn, like an hour and a half into the show, like Kev sucked my battery, the 2 AA batteries clean. So it was there I realized I get about an hour to 90 minutes on the batteries.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, each battery is like an hour.
Yeah, but plus I was also recording at very high. I was full HD.
Yes.
So the more you set
high
those,
definition,
the more you set those DPI levels, the more power it's going to consume to write bigger files and whatnot. So that affects it too.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, I got a lot of footage. I got 2 hours. Because really I had to swap out the batteries, and then those were sucked dry. I would have had to have brought 8 batteries in total to do the whole thing, I think.
Yeah, we'll know that for next time.
Okay. Maybe 6.
God, he can talk, man.
Yeah, so then after the show... no. So during the show, after he told that story, then everyone was encouraged to go up and get online.
And I ran.
And yep, you ran, but yet you were still like 8th or 6th or something.
I
didn't say that to bust on you. I'm saying that because 1, of your distance from where the mic point was.
Yeah.
And 2, because, the sheer volume of people that all ran towards the microphone.
I almost lost it because I was 8.
And then
went to 10.
And as a matter of fact, Donna broke someone's glass on the way.
I know, I saw her.
She was, like, Shh.
Did somebody get her?
Ah.
Did
No,
anybody
it's
get
just
her?
someone. It just the glass fell off.
I think you know what I think she did though. I think
There were little cocktail tables.
I know.
So everyone made a beeline for the
But
darn
yeah.
mic. So you guys were back to where were you were like 6th or whatever.
Yeah.
So after a little time, Jean got up and she got to say the following.
I have a question, but I wanted to thank you for being born.
Thank you. Well, thank her. The lady over there.
For being around another year.
Yeah, that might be
For being an inspiration. My husband and I started a podcast. It's called ThatMan on Fatman. My name is Jane, and he's Scott, and you totally changed our life, like rocked our world. And we love you, and happy birthday. And I just wanted to give you this and maybe get a hug too.
Oh my God, come on. Yeah, absolutely. Podcast guy, man, and I've been on the podcast because thank you so much. Look at this guy.
She's awesome too.
I know. Thank you so much. It's the only podcast I know of that is about me. My favorite subject in the world. Are you guys ready? We going over to you now? Are you next?
And what I think is cool is Kev's response.
He said,
Well, regardless, what he said was, I've been on it.
Yeah.
Like, very proudly. So,
Yes,
I mean,
he did.
it was just, I mean, guys, I may sound like a dude, a little douchey or,
douche.
like self-indulgent or whatever, but just in that moment, I just, for that little moment, I felt like $1 million,
Yeah.
Like my hero knows me. My hero has acknowledged our show. Oh, and that's another thing. So Kev comes out and he announces to the crowd, too, that he was supposed to be joined by Jay, but Jay was unavailable because he's shooting Hawaii 5-0.
how cool in Hawaii.
He, Jordan, and Logan were all whisked off to Hawaii suddenly because this part came through and they needed him to shoot. And
Isn't that great?
he was going off to shoot the new reboot of Hawaii 5-0, and it appears that Jay Muse will be one of the guys who will be subject to the statement, "Book 'em, Dano."
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Way to go, Jay.
Yeah. I'd say another cool highlight of the evening, just early on in the show, was that Kev essentially redid the missing script from the Jay and Silent Bob that recently dropped, Jay and Silent Bob Get Old show.
Yeah.
Where if you listened, you were teased right up to the end, and then Kevin cut the script that Jay read. Well, since Jay wasn't there, Kevin read the script this time, and so we got to hear it. We got to experience it. And I have it taped, and it will never see the light of day because
that's the way you roll.
Yes, I am loyal to my hero, so that will be getting destroyed.
You are like the what was that woman in the Beatles?
Oh,
what's her name?
Frida.
Frida. You're
good
like
old Frida.
You're good old Frida. But that's a beautiful thing.
I would be honored. I'm thanking me Lucky Charms.
That was last week. No,
thanking me Lucky Stars. Yes. Oh, thank you, Ellie, that was a great show last night. I hope you enjoyed what you heard in the end. I know you were all self-conscious, but there was no need to. You were adorable.
So many people are, though. It's just human.
Yeah.
Everyone's so critical of themselves, but they're all wonderful.
So so when you asked the question, he was so accommodating to you. He was nice. He talked about being on the show. Then you got to give him the present. Now the present to everyone out there, it wasn't much because what do you get the guy who has everything other than weed? Which was, there's a piece of his legacy that he's discussed. Now he cites many sources for the name of Silent Bob.
Right.
But among the 2 or 3 he cites, you usually hear Bob and Doug McKenzie, so Bob and Doug McKenzie. Another one you frequently hear is the Joker's sidekick from the 1989 Tim Burton Batman. I mean, the character is called Bob the Goon, and he's the Joker's henchman, and he's played by a character named Tracy Walter. Now, look him up because you know his face.
Yeah, I knew his face.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the old Batman. So the weirdest thing is, the actor who plays Bob the Goon's name is Tracy Walter, and I don't know that he's had any action figures ever made of him other than this weird because back when Tim Burton's Batman came out, like, for whatever reason, they really dropped the ball with toy marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't ready. When they finally came to it, apparently they had 3 figures. There was a Batman, there was a Joker, and then there was Bob the Goon action figure. So what we gave Kev yesterday was an original 1989 mint on card.
That's cool.
Well, mint is questionable, but a good on card Bob the Goon action figure.
What's good on card mean?
Well, mint on card means that it's in good condition. The toy is on the card, and all the glue is attached, and mint means brand new. Good would mean it's not mint. It's not great. It's good, but it's what I had.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not the easiest figure to come across. So.
Really?
Well, the internet's a big place, so.
Now, was it as popular as the others? Though? I mean,
no, it was a total goof. I mean, that's.
It's kind. I mean, if you
it was like, why would you even want the Bob the Goon figure?
No, but if you wanted the set, you would.
I think he had that. I think he had kicking action, which was oh really wow, and a bad hat.
Cool. And a bad hat.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't really look like Tracy Walter either. Huh. But anyway. So there you go. So that's what we gave Kevin. And there was a little Post-it note on it that said, what do you get the guy who has everything? A piece of his legacy.
Very cool.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it was a nice birthday.
Yeah, so that was the gift that you gave him,
mm-hmm.
which went on the table and probably got thrown out.
I was thinking that, yeah. I don't think he throws things out.
No. But, yeah, and then what happened next? Then the show, finally, after all this talk, there was another question the guy asked about George Carlin. And Kevin went on for a good long time about George and Kelly Carlin, saying some very nice things about her and her show and the book. And
I hadn't heard a portion of that George Carlin story.
Yeah.
It was neat.
Yeah, so that was very cool. That was like a good half hour towards the end.
Yeah, he loves him.
Of the show. And then finally, another filmmaker got up and asked the question about filmmaking and rejection or something.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin got on a very long sort of, the message of, do it, take it to the next level, don't go for safe.
I can't even tell you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure all this will come out on Smodcast very shortly.
It's so wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, and then finally he talked about this couple from I don't even know where they're from. They kind of had an accent. They were like they came there to celebrate their husband's birthday, not even knowing it was Kevin's birthday, and they wanted a picture and they wanted to ask what he was drinking, which was milk. He drank big glasses of milk. At least 1 tumbler of milk was consumed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
He has milk.
Yes. He's on a milk thing. And then, let's see, the show ended and no one let him leave. He wasn't allowed to leave the area. He was kind of, surrounded and people started taking pictures and the usual. It was just cool because, he knew me. So he was like...
He did.
So it was a different sort of embrace. It was like, hey, it was like a big embrace, and it was like, oh, when you shooting? Which was weird because when he asked me that, other people heard it, and there was like this little chatter. Like suddenly I felt, but I just felt like $1 million for a moment. It just felt like, hey, I'm rubbing elbows with Kevin Smith on some kind of. He's asking me about shooting.
Yeah.
He shoots. He's the director. I'm a director. This is cool. So I was having my own little fanboy inner explosion moment. He asked about shooting when we were shooting. Some other questions. And,
it was very cool.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. And we said we'd see him Tuesday or whatever the fuck day it was. I don't even know what day it is now.
Today's Monday.
I know. And doesn't feel like it. I don't know what day it feels like. It feels like Tuesday.
Today was a pretty good Monday. Mondays are usually bad, but it was a good Monday.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was a good Monday, too, because I got to wake up and tell everybody, hey, Kevin Smith's going to be in the movie. Yeah.
But that's the part you left out, before
Okay,
we
yes. So as we were talking and shit, and then Gene does make sure to say, is it okay to promote that you're in the... And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So it was
had to.
Yes.
It was like burning.
I agree. And I'm glad you did, because it was like, wait a minute, I felt like we were waiting for the response, but yeah, then the response is right there. So
it's him. It came out of his mouth.
And since we were already, it slipped my mind because we had already started talking about when we were going to shoot, and, September, and that he was on board and all that stuff, and it was, and as he's doing that, I'm having somersaults inside just the fact that he's on board.
I'm sure that he knew that we knew that he was on board, but just him saying it again was like
affirming.
So cool.
Yes.
He looks
supportive.
Great. He looks
really
so
does.
Great.
And yeah, it was. I don't know. Everybody's going to hear this and go, well, it doesn't sound all that special. But
I know. It sounds like their same corny selves.
Yeah, probably. But it was really cool for us. And then, what else happened? I feel like we're missing something now, but it was just really...
There was a whole lot of laughing with...
Yeah, there was a lot of good times.
Donna.
Yeah, with Donna, and it was just a lot of fun. And
then she went up, and I took her picture when I went up. She took my picture. It was cool.
Yeah.
And he knew her, like, right away.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing. Yes, it was very cool, because, yeah, he knew exactly who she was. I believe she mentioned to me that she's been in, I thought she said Chasing Amy.
Ah.
Possibly Dogma.
Well, then she went up and said, I want to be in
Yeah, she had no problem saying, yeah, I'm going to, and as Kevin will say, Mallrats, the plan for Mallrats is supposed to be big, so if you're on the East Coast,
head on over.
There might be a chance that you can be in Mallrats, so when they start shooting. So, it was an amazing night. We were so happy to announce that, Kevin is going to be in the film. As we get more information about other folks that we have, that we're talking to, we will gladly share that information. But this was a really big thing for us because, as I've said online, I mean, Kevin is not only important, he's important to my personal story as well as he is to the story of podcasting. So I don't even know how I could tell the story without him. So I'm very happy he's involved. So.
Yes.
I'm very grateful.
Thank
very
you.
Happy, very thankful, and I don't know what else to say. I guess it'd be a good time to go to the Smed lines before we go over to our guest this week, which was the very cool retake with the Midnight Smoke that I did. Unfortunately, we couldn't find the original interview.
I was in the original one. I remember being.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't there?
I don't think you were. No. Your memory is faulty, ma'am.
It could be.
It might have been that you heard it, because I might have played you some of it. But
it was good, too.
Yeah, I know. That's what it was so...
But he's a great guest.
But I have to say, this follow-up is good. Just as good, if not better, because we go to some new places.
Yeah. That
we didn't go in the first conversation. And so it was very cool to find that out about him.
Everything happens for a reason, so it was good.
Indeed. But before we go there... Here comes the Smed lines, and for all I know, one of the Smed lines could be, since I don't have control of the Smed lines, could be that Kevin has announced that he's going to be a part of our documentary, which would be awesome, because I always like when I make the Smed lines.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of Kev news. I wonder. Well, I already tipped off Ben to the Jay Muse story of Hawaii 5.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure that'll be in there.
Hello, this is Ben from the blog Indie Mac User with the Smedlines Roundup for the 5th of August 2015. And let's not bury the lead this week. The big news is that Kevin Smith has agreed to be interviewed for What's a Podcast, a documentary film directed by our very own Scott Holden, so look forward to that. Also in the news this week, Kevin Smith teased details of the upcoming film Moose Jaws on his podcast Jay and Silent Bob Get Old this week, including announcing that the characters of Jay and Silent Bob would definitely be appearing in the film. Also this week, Kevin Smith has been auctioning off his old jean shorts for the Wayne Foundation, and the top-selling pair are currently at a high bid of $338. Please give generously if you can. Also, actor Jason Mewes has secured a guest role in the hit TV show Hawaii Five-0 and has already flown out to start filming. In this month's issue of UK film magazine Empire, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's cameo in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was featured at number 8 in the 15 smartest film cameos of all time. Also this week, BuzzFeed hosted a 20th anniversary screening of Mallrats in Brooklyn, and this was attended by 2,000 people. Also at this event, Kevin Smith ran into that ill-fated Canadian robot, Hitchbot, and you'll hear more about that in today's show. That's the Spedlines for this week.
And there you have this week's Smedlines. I tell you, Ben was very happy that we could finally talk about Kevin, as was a lot of the crew members, a lot of the people who are like,
they feel good about it.
Yeah, like Dr. Squee and all these folks are now like very happy that they can share the information and they're but as Dr. Squee said, he's like, hey, I can say that I'm going to be in a movie with Kevin Smith.
Yes, you can.
Without giving any further details. Those are very true, and that is very true, 100%. So, and why shouldn't he be?
Right.
Is my thinking.
It's true.
I mean, now, especially that Kevin is involved, already the floodgates have sort of open. We're already getting a lot of solicitations from podcasters out there who want to be interested and involved.
Yeah, anybody can.
Here's the bottom line. The truth is we need tons of podcasters and we need tons of shows because in a project like this, the more footage you have, the better it is.
Right.
So please, I'm like saying this both ways. While we're already becoming flooded, please continue to send those things if you think you may be interested. If you have an interesting show that you think would be good to be featured in the film, please let us know. That's the kind of stuff we're looking for. Interesting, fringe, unique, successful, long-standing.
Yeah.
Because there are just so many podcasts out there. I know that personally, I only know a small swath, and it's mostly the stuff I'm into.
It's so true. There's
and
so
the
many.
podcasting world is so fucking broad. Despite Kevin's in the film, but this is not a Kevin Smith Smodcast, documentary. This is about the broadness of podcasting. So we're looking for a lot of diversity and a lot of, stuff. So please do not stop asking or do not stop sending requests or letting us know about your show and, how you can be in the film. There are certain things though, because of the budget, our travel is light. So our scope is limited. We're focusing on the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area and wherever we can get to within that area. So Philly within, a reasonable amount of driving time while still having plenty of shooting time. We're also focused. Then in November, we plan to focus very briefly on the West Coast, mainly Los Angeles and San Francisco. So, and then Ben is working the UK. So that's the entire scope. Outside of that, if you have a show that's in Texas and unfortunately, it's going to be difficult for us to get to you. And so we are somewhat limited in scope. However, that said, we don't seem to be having any trouble getting shows coming forward that are local and in the areas we're looking at. So that all said, and then who knows, maybe we'll fire up the Kickstarter again and see if we can now fund the entire budget. You never know.
And then you never know where
that's
we'll
what the
go.
shooting clerks.
See,
that's what our shooting clerks buddies did.
Right.
So.
Well, because that's what's keeping us from being able to go everywhere. Because we'd love to go all over the place and film
everywhere.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that's a little extreme, but
yes.
Yeah. So,
if we had become fully funded, that would certainly loosen up a lot of strings in general. But that said, don't let us sound like we're ungrateful for what we made. God, I am so thrilled for what we made. It's already it's already helping. Yeah, like we got some film card. We're already making investments. So thank you very much out there. Your money is getting utilized beautifully for the project.
You guys
That's all
are
I
the
can
best.
say, and we appreciate it.
So nice and generous.
Yeah. So, and we will be reaching out to you this week, not this week, but next week to start to fulfill the perks. So you will be hearing from us then.
Yes.
As I said, the week of the 10th. So just crazy this week. Cray, folks. All right. At this time, I guess it's a good time, now that we've totally gone off about the movie and all other kinds of stuff, that we can pivot over to a sane and calming influence as I was talking to him. You know him from Twitter. He's, a supporter of the show. He's a really good guy. He hangs out there in the community, tweeting it up. He's known as Midnight Smoke, especially, he's another one of our edumacation pals. So here he is, the one, the only Midnight Smoke.
Fair enough.
So how are you?
I'm doing great.
I really appreciate you doing this redo.
Oh, of course.
Which seems to be happening more frequently to me of late. But
just bad luck, that's all.
Yeah. It's so funny, too, because I really loved the interview, the talk we had last time. It was just really a good talk, and it sucks that I can't find the damn thing. So.
It happens, man.
Yeah, so maybe I'll find it after this, but then it will be irrelevant.
That's true.
But when you listen to this week's show, you'll find that we talked about it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we did. I said, it sucks because we did this great interview, and then during the week, I shot a text to Andy and was saying that we mentioned him, and we hoped that everything was all right. And then later on, a week later, he shot me back a response saying, thank you, essentially, graciously thanking us for thinking of him. And then I think that's what might have prompted the update on the latest show. And first, actually, let me welcome to the show, who, if you haven't figured it out now, this is Midnight Smoke from Twitter. He's a big listener and a big supporter of ours on the show. So welcome to the show again for this second interview.
Definitely. I'm happy to be here, man.
So did you hear Edumacation this week?
I did.
So you heard that update.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, this is odd. We were just talking about that.
Yeah. Well, I think that might, we're not the only ones who wondered. And he really did sound down because I went back and listened to it again just to double check.
Right.
Especially before I sent the note. And yeah, in the beginning, it's almost like Kevin cuts him off from really saying, giving more detail. It's like he starts to say he's in a bad mood, but then Kevin kind of, steers the conversation elsewhere and starts being a goofball. So
exactly. When that episode dropped, I was like, that's odd, because we just talked about it and everything. I'm like, oh man. Yeah. And then he said that everything was going better and stuff. I'm like, all right, good.
Yeah. I actually applauded. I was like, yay, when he said that.
I know. I was so happy. I was driving for work and I heard it and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Good.
Well, I hate to have to make you retell some of your story, but what the heck? Let's retell some of your story. Why don't you tell the listeners how you came into, become a fan of Kevin Smith and the Viewsk universe and the Smotiverse and all that good stuff?
Oh, definitely. Well, it started out, I was fairly young. Clerks came out in 94, so I was about 12 years old or so. And I was huge into movies, specifically black and white movies and that. And one of my friends, he was also very big into movies. So he invited me over to his house on a Saturday, I think. He's like, hey, you got to spend the night. I got this movie you got to see. You're going to love it. It's hilarious. I said, okay. I get over there, and he's like, we hang out, do whatever, play some games throughout the day. Then it's getting late, and he's like, all right, we're going to watch this movie. It's in black and white. You're really going to like it. So I'm like, awesome. I love black and white movies. He puts it on, and it's Clerks. And right from the beginning, I'm like, this is strange. But at the same time, the dialogue and the jokes in it were phenomenal. We were both big nerds. We love Star Wars and stuff, so that worked right away. Got hooked onto that. We ended up watching it again that night after watching it the first time because we loved it that much.
Play it again.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my God, this is freaking funny as hell. And, we're 12 years old, so we've heard the language before, but never really used it that much. Mm-hmm. So having a movie like this, which is that funny and using
Like
the language and
snowballing.
profanity was great.
Snowballing must have been an eye-opener.
Yeah, it threw me. I never heard that before. I was like, what the fuck is that?
I actually watched Clerks for the first time with my daughter not too long ago. And that's probably the most uncomfortable I was in the whole movie, was the snowballing scene. But, I mean, again, I'm pretty liberal as far as parents go. So most of that stuff doesn't bother me as much as some of my friends talk about. But, that was a little, just the spitting part, and all that just made it. But once we got to 37, everything was fine.
Yeah, exactly. Because then it's like, all right, this is funny now.
Yeah. What was the part where she really? Wow, what was it? There was one part that really did crack her up because she's weird. She's very internal. Like a lot of stuff. There's a lot going on upstairs, even though she doesn't necessarily always say it. Yeah. So, it'll come to
she
me.
gets the jokes that you get too, and it's like, all right, that's funny. Wait a minute, you're my daughter.
Yeah, and now she's primed and ready for Mallrats, which we're going to go see on Wednesday with Kevin and Jay.
I know, dude. I'm so happy for you.
In
guys. I
Brooklyn.
can't believe you guys get to go.
Why don't you guys come down?
I can't. Believe me, if I could, I would.
I mean, how long would it be? Because you're up in what, Buffalo?
Yeah, Buffalo. It's about to Jersey.
Yeah, you're
it's
really west
6.5 hour
too.
drive.
You're west, aren't you? Is Buffalo really west in New York too?
We're right by the lakes, Great Lakes.
It's north and west, I think.
Yeah. Western New York. Yeah.
How close are you to Pennsylvania? Are you closer to Pennsylvania than Jersey?
Oh yeah, Pennsylvania is like an hour and a half away.
Okay, yeah, so you are more west. Yeah, because I was looking at a map and I'm like, Buffalo, I thought it was more like where Albany was, but it's not. It's more west.
Oh yeah, Albany's really far.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. Buffalo's a haul. You would probably come down through Pennsylvania, I think.
I think that's my buddy just came back from Jersey, and he went to the secret stash because I told him, I was like, "You're going to Jersey for training?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You're going to the secret stash?" He's like, "Oh, of course, dude." He's never bought a comic book.
They're filming now too.
I know, and I was like, I wanted to go.
You could be an extra.
He went down there and he spent 2 days at the stash, and he's bought his very first comic books there.
Do you talk with Marshall?
I do on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I think. I want to say in September. Yeah, September, because we're going to be filming like crazy. Yeah, he's going to be in the area, in the Red Bank area.
Really?
And hanging out and like wanting to, hang out and meet up with all the ants and that kind of shit. So,
well, I was planning on doing a trip in fall down there. My buddy and I, there's going to be like 4 of us. We're going to go down there. I'm going to write an article on the stash for my website, and then I was thinking about doing a convention down there too, if I can find one around that time.
I don't know if there's a convention around that time, but he's definitely coming down and hanging out, and I think that a bunch of ants and or 13%er ants are coming as well. So he was mentioning it in a tweet to me the other day. So.
Oh, I'd love to. The only thing I just got to clear my schedule to get out there because I'd be doing a weekend thing, like leave Friday after work and come back Sunday night type of thing. Yeah, and depending on our filming schedule, I'd love to make time and at least meet up and have a drink or whatever. Even though that would be
awesome. Have a Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, how much sugar is in a Diet Pepsi? There's still some in there, right?
Not a diet. No, it's just it's a chemical. This is the. It depends on who you ask. Now, here's what I know as a diabetic. Mm-hmm. I can drink Splenda and it doesn't affect my blood sugar readings. Where it doesn't make my blood sugar go up.
Right.
That's how I know it's not sugar.
Makes
now,
sense.
What they say is, what sticklers will say is it triggers hormonal activity as though it's sugar. But, I don't give a fuck.
Oh.
I'm a diabetic.
Yeah, right.
My problem is sugar. I don't, and what they're saying is, your body acts like it'll do all these other things like it's sugar, but I don't buy that.
It's like your readings are going up. It's not.
Yeah. If my glucose, if I drink Diet Pepsi, my glucose is unaffected. Then pretty much I know there's no glucose in Diet Pepsi. It's like it's chemically flavored water with bubbles.
I cannot stand
and
Diet
caffeine. Sorry, it's like that's my favorite.
No, I'm huge on sugar. I run on caffeine and sugar constantly.
I love caffeine. The sugar, man, it turns me into syrup. It turns my blood into syrup, plain and simple, which gums up everything. That's what diabetes is. It's a horrible fucking disease. Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'd go nuts.
You don't have a choice. Believe me. You know, there are many times in my life where it's like, well, first of all, alcohol has never been good for me to begin with, but it's not good for diabetics either, because guess what it is? Sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't drink. I can't eat a lot of sweetened foods, or if I do, I pay the price or have to take medication. Welcome to my life.
I feel for you.
All I have left is sex, really. So, yeah. So, which of the shows, I mean, when did you come along into the podcast world? When did you drift in, and what show did you drift in first? I know you're an early adopter.
Yeah, well, I got hooked on the movies after Clerks, went straight to Mallrats and then Vulgar, and then I think Chasing Amy was after that, then Dogma.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe after that, I was gone for a few years in the military.
Okay, we've all had our time.
Got into the podcast.
Yeah, we talked about this, how when you were overseas, did you tie into the universe? Is that did you watch the movies and shit?
Oh, seriously? Those movies helped me a lot. I was stationed in LSA Anaconda in Balad, Iraq, right after the U.S. took over the base.
And you did 3 tours, was it?
3 tours in Iraq.
Okay.
First time, pretty much, you're in a tent with cots, and I was the only Air Force guy.
Oh, that's right.
In my part, I was with a bunch of Army guys.
So much good stuff. Okay, I'm glad we're going here again, because I enjoyed all this. Well, I enjoyed, because I don't come in contact with a lot of people who've been over there. I mean, I just don't. So it's good to know what it's like.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you right now, man, those Army guys, they take care of you. They're awesome.
That's right. You're an airman.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're an airman. You repair, you're a mechanic.
Yep. I was a mechanic on F-16.
That's right.
Fighters.
And this is how we talked about my dad being an aviation mechanic. And then I sent you the T-38 picture.
Yep. Which is awesome.
That was it. Those were the ones that I grew up looking at. Those were my Thunderbirds.
Yeah, dude, those planes are nice, too.
They're really, I don't know what it is. I mean, I've heard they weren't great fighter jets, but they look really cool.
They look badass. They were fast.
They're really sleek, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So why'd they get rid of them? The shit they gotta have now is gotta blow it away.
Oh, yeah, well, the speed, the maneuverability now. I know up until 6 years ago, the F-16, the one I worked on, was the most maneuverable and fastest air combat.
Now, the F-16 is very old hardware, though. I mean,
Yeah,
we're going back, the 80s at least. That's
what I was working on. Because they weren't meant to last as long as they did. They were built specifically for war, for the short war times there. So
really?
They were started getting built in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, I remember. And the big scoop, because I grew up in an aviation family because my father is a writer, and the first part of his writing career was focusing on aviation and women in aviation and planes. So we were very much an aviation family and kind of military too. Mm-hmm. Even though my dad was a Marine and just in the reserves and didn't fight in a war or anything.
Still, dude.
Yeah, I guess.
Still, it's all the same.
Yeah. So, so aviation has always been in our. So I know the hardware. Like my brother was a big modeler, plastic modeler. I built them, but they fell apart. I was more into Legos. But so I know what F-16s. I see these jets were around my house.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were everywhere for a long time too.
Went to a lot of air shows. You know, now I would never go to one. They're too loud, and they're too fucking dangerous. You always see like a fucking plane crash and blowing up and killing people. So.
Oh man, yeah, we had one here a couple weeks ago, Niagara Falls Air Force Base. So the Thunderbirds were there. I was working at my other job, and I was watching them flying around outside.
No crashes.
No crashes.
Good.
No.
Yay.
No, they're pretty good. I think they pretty much got it down now. As long as they don't get like those giant bombers trying to do a loop or anything, they're good.
Yeah, and the Thunderbird paint job just looks better than the Blue Angel paint job.
Oh yeah, you got the flags underneath it.
Yeah, the red, white, and blue.
I love it. Yeah, those jets. I still, every time I see one, man, it's like, man, I wish I still worked on those things.
Did you work on The Blue Angel? I mean, not the Thunderbirds. Sorry, that was
No, actually, I didn't get to work on any of their jets, but I did get to meet all the pilots 7 years ago that were performing an air show. So I met up with all of them after I was on base here in Niagara Falls, and they all came down. We all met with them before. I think it was the day prior to the air show happening when they were all practicing.
Do you know how that works? Like, how are those guys? I assume they're combat pilots, and then they get picked because they're good.
Yeah, you go through like your regular training, so your pilot training, and then they usually ask who would like to take on a Blue Angel task, and then they train you.
Thunderbird.
Take the top
now you're doing it. It's Thunderbirds.
Or darn it, yeah, Thunderbirds. I got all screwed up.
That's all right. I it's my fault. Okay, so they ask if someone want to be a Thunderbird.
Yeah, so you sign up, and then you go through even more intense training, and they figure out who works, and then they get backups, of course. And then they just work as a unit, and then that unit, that's their MOS now, so that's their job.
That's all they do.
Their
wow,
job
they're
is
lucky.
they
stay out of combat.
Yeah,
exactly. Getting shot
that's
at.
the cool thing about those things is they can be combat ready within, I think, 24 or 48 hours.
Oh,
Take
yeah,
the canisters out, put the weaponry on it, repaint the whole thing, and be ready to go.
So if they needed to, they could pull the Blue Angels just to...
Thunderbirds.
You're the last fighters left, guys.
Yeah.
You're going in.
It's a sick thing. They can. They'll put a targeting pod on that thing. They'll put an ECM pod on it, and they're like, all right, you're ready to go.
That's not a very comforting thought, though.
No. Well, the chance of them using those now would be really slim.
Yeah.
Especially with the 22 out there, and that thing's insane.
Oh, the F-22, yeah, the stealth.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty.
The Blackbird. Well, the Blackbird's the SR-71?
Yeah, SR-71, the high atmosphere aircraft.
Yes.
You know what's cool about that thing? I saw one of those once.
It practically goes into space.
Right? Yeah, it can. You have to wear a spacesuit when you're flying.
Yeah, it's just, I believe it's it's just below, space, essentially.
Yeah, like the pressurization in that thing is so
strange.
strange. You have to have a spacesuit on it. And while it's on the ground, say it's on the flight line, you have to keep it on the flight line empty. Because the minute you fill it up with fuel, it leaks fuel.
Oh, wow. Why?
Yeah, they do that on purpose because the minute you get up high enough, the pressurization seals up all the panels.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
That's what holds the fuel in. So once it takes off, it actually has to refuel as soon as it gets up in the air.
Wow. That's fucking weird. I didn't know that.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Did you just let out something is that military intelligence? Or
I think it's crazy old. It's okay.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah. There's certain things I can still... Yeah.
For a long time, there was, they wouldn't even acknowledge that thing exists.
Yeah, they said it was... No, we don't have anything like that.
Yeah. SR-71.
Yeah, but after my first tour in Iraq, I only got 1 day off a week. It's you work 16 hours, so when you get home, you're back to your tent. We called it home.
Yeah.
You would sit there and it's like, all right, you can read a book or you can hopefully watch a movie before you go back to sleep to do it all again. And I had Clerks, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy, and I think at that point Dogma. If not, Dogma wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd watch those, and you'd be surprised how just watching that movie with the headset on, and it just takes you out of that reality you're in at the time. It's so nice and it's relaxing, and you get to laugh.
Yeah. What was the temperature like in your tent?
They were in the hundreds. I went every time I went there, it was in the summer, with the exception of the first year.
God.
I was in the summer up through February.
So how long does a tour last traditionally?
Our tours, the Air Force, ours were anywhere between 6 months and 9 months.
Okay.
So I was there for 2.5 years total at that base through all my tours.
And you saw that base totally change. And the base was, say it again, where were we?
It started as LSA Anaconda, which was an Army base. And that was in 2004.
And where was it in?
It was in Iraq.
Yeah, where in Iraq?
It was south of Baghdad. It was near a city called Balad, Balad.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, and then after we took it over, it became Balad Air Base.
Yeah. Because that's sort of, I remember, I used to follow, I was a big news buff, so I was following that war.
Oh, yeah, it was
So I remember Balad Air Base. Yeah.
We'd watch the news and be like, hey, I know what happened there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I used to, at the time, I had just moved from New Jersey to Virginia, And, I kind of felt like a big culture shock. And at the time, I bought satellite radio because Opie and Anthony had come on. But then, as I'm listening to them, I find out about this other station called Air America, which gave news the way I liked it, a little more to the left.
Right.
And so I just soaked up, and that's how I learned all about the war. So I would listen to that on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah, it's
because I'm sure the left covered the war a lot better than the fucking right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, you just got the government's assignment,
right, and that was it.
Yeah, and find out what really went on.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, when we got there, we were actually part of the 322nd.
Okay,
I think it was the 332nd. 332nd.
That's the Army guys, you're saying.
No, this is us. It's the Air Force.
Okay.
Because it was a 332nd AMU. And if you ever look it up, it's the Tuskegee Airmen's unit.
That's awesome. My father would be very, very impressed.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that last time. And I thought about it earlier. I was like,
the Red Tails.
I forgot to tell him that. Yeah,
the
exactly. That's what our call sign was when we were over there. So we were Red Tails.
You want to hear something really cool? My father, when my son was very little, actually when he was first born, my father started building this wooden, P-51 that you can ride in. You may see them at air shows.
What?
You can pedal them and stuff. Yeah, really, really. You got to go and buy a specialty kit, and you buy blueprints. And he worked on this thing it took him years to put it together. By the time Cameron was old enough to do it, it was just really cool. But one of the things that he did, he put a red tail on that hawk.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he totally put a red tail on it. And he knew exactly why. He's like, it's a Tuskegee Airman. Because they never lost a fighter.
No.
I mean, never lost a bomber.
Too.
Never lost a bomber. Sorry, not that they never lost a fighter, duh.
Yeah, they were fighters.
Yes, they were.
They were escorts.
Yeah, they never lost a bomber.
Yeah. It was the first all-African-American unit, I believe.
Yep, it was. And it was very, controversial. And there was actually they made a movie about it. And they made two now. Lucas made the second one.
I've never seen them. I wanted to.
I have the first one. It's the HBO one is really good. I haven't seen the Lucas one, but I've heard it's not good.
Oh.
Now I don't know. I mean, you got Star Wars, then you got Howard the Duck, so somewhere in the middle the truth lies, I guess. So go on. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, so that was the first tour. I think I only had a few movies. And then my second tour over there, I had a new laptop. I brought that over. But this time, the Air Force took it over. So we actually had walls, concrete fencing. It's kind of nice.
Barriers.
Yeah. No, it was cool. So, we were a lot safer than it was the first time there. We weren't getting shot as much. And I think, the second time was in 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2005 to 2006. So I think Dogma was out then.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, definitely. 2005, 2006, we may have been all the way up to... Yeah, you were probably...
That's what it was.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, definitely. And we might have been even rolling up on Clerks 2 by then. When did Clerks 2 come out? 2005 maybe?
Was it that? Man, I can't remember. But
it definitely came out when I was in Virginia. I gotta look at.
But yeah, I remember having extra movies, and since we took it over, the Air Force has a little bit more money for budget wise than the Army did, so we were able to, make the base up a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
So we actually had trailers that looked like dorms when they were connected all together, and we were able to buy big screen TVs and stuff.
All right, Dogma's list is 99, 2001 for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, wow.
And 2006 for Clerks 2.
That's the one then that I must have brought, because I remember bringing something I knew I didn't have.
Was it Clerks 2?
We brought it into the trailer, and I put it right there into the DVD player, and we got the whole unit got to watch it. It was kind of nice. We're all laughing. This is so stupid, but it's funny.
Oh, it's great. I love Clerks 2.
I know, dude. God, the donkey show.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, and there's the moment at the end. It's got a heart,
Yeah, it does. It's this is a great movie, and he put it together so well.
Yeah, it was very well crafted. It's genius.
Yeah, it's how many sequels do you get that actually do as well as it did? Keeps continues the story plus starts the new story and still ends phenomenally.
Yep, exactly.
There's not that many.
It does some amazing tricks. It is a great sequel, and it can stand. You could not have seen Clerks, and it's still a funny movie. It doesn't demand a lot of you, and it's got a heart.
Yeah.
It can make you cry in the middle of a donkey show.
Yes.
I love you.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love the ending. It's like, all right, the way he wrote it, it's like it can end like this. They have the quick stop, they own it, and it could just end the story there and be fine. But it also leaves it open enough to where he can do Clerks 3.
And thanks to that movie, I can say just 2 words to my son and make him crack up. Ooh, cake. So there you go.
Oh man, that's funny.
Ooh, cake.
Ooh, cake. That's. I got the image in my head now. Thanks.
There you go. Enjoy that.
Oh yeah, I will.
It's not a shit demon, but what do you want?
Right? No, that part's funny. I'm trying to think. After I came back, I think I got into the podcast at that point because I had his books. I had Tough Shit. I was watching his commentaries.
Yeah.
Too Fat for 40.
That was my gateway, I think, ultimately, because when you really when you think about it, it's movie commentaries and those his spoken word shows that ultimately make it so easy to go over to the podcast.
It's true.
I didn't make the jump until I read the book.
Okay.
So that's the truth for me. I mean, I just didn't because I had my head up my ass.
No, you were busy.
Yeah, I was a busy guy, yeah. Real busy. A lot of busyness. I was unemployed. The first year of my unemployment, I could have been doing the podcast, man.
Yeah, but you didn't know. Nobody really knows.
Yeah. Anyway, so you did your 2.5. So how long were you in the military total? What was your
10 years.
Wow. In 10 years, you only ended up in Iraq for 2.5.
Well, it was weird because my school was 11 months long, so there's the first year.
That's right.
Between that and basic, 1 year's gone.
Yeah.
And you have to train enough.
And you were in Germany and stuff, right?
No, I actually never. I didn't go to Germany when I was in the military. Well, I went there, stopped for a couple days, but
yeah,
I was in Germany before I was in the military.
Where were you stationed? I forgot. I thought we covered this.
I was stationed at Hill Air Force Base in Utah.
Oh, wow.
It's about 25 minutes, 30 minutes from Salt Lake City, where Trent Hutzinger lives.
Oh, wow. Did you ever meet him?
Me and him talked before about that, and he's like, oh, yeah, you were at Hill? And I'm like, yeah, we talked back and forth for a little bit from that head, so it was pretty neat.
Trent was a good guest. It was funny. I interviewed him the day before you, but I lost your interview.
I know. I heard it, and I was like, oh, cool, Trent's on there. That's badass.
Yeah. So it was weird.
But yeah, I've only been stationed there and then, in Iraq. Those are my only official stations. I've been to a couple other places, and then I've been to Vegas a lot.
Vegas?
Yeah.
Like you were stationed in Vegas?
Well, TD-wise, so all temporary.
Were you in Groom Lake?
I was at Nellis.
What is that?
Nellis Air Force Base. It's right inside Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
did you get to go on that secret jet?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, sure you don't. You don't know anything about the secret jet that goes to Groom Lake?
Nope.
Okay.
I know nothing.
I think I figured out where the rest of those 10 years were spent. So you were running around in there. Interesting. You can neither deny nor confirm.
Right, yeah. I was like, I know nothing. No, I got to see some
that makes
cool
sense.
stuff.
I should have fucking picked up on it as soon as you said Nevada. And Salt Lake. Fucking, that's right. Because I watched recently I watched a big doc about that, about how much space the government owns there. I think it's
insane.
Oh, wait. Matter of fact, it's not even it wasn't even a big conspiracy doc. It was, how the states got their shapes.
Oh, for the borders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the name of the series, this documentary series. It was on, I think it's on Netflix. But yeah, they do one about Nevada, and that's what they talk about. That's why all the top secret government bases are essentially in those areas, because they bought them. The government took ownership of them because they were desolate deserts that nobody would ever want to live in.
That makes sense. And you can get away with a lot out in the desert.
Exactly. And then, I think along comes a little thing called the Manhattan Project.
Right.
And they need a lot of secret space.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Nevada is, like in where I was,
there's nothing cool about Nevada. Maybe at night.
Yeah, at night's cool stuff. Yeah. But when we were in Vegas, we were stationed at TDY. We got certain people got selected for incentive flights, which means you get to go up in the jet. So the cool thing about there is you can do combat vertical takeoffs.
Oh wow!
Because you're so far out in the desert. And nothing's going to shatter when you hit that sound barrier that quick.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, when you're taking off, you're going fast already on the runway. It's full throttle all the way up, and you go vertical 90 degrees.
So you're getting all those, what are those, positive G's or negative?
Yeah, positive G's.
Those are the ones that push you in.
Inward, yep.
Yeah, I hate the negative G's.
Oh, yeah, that's what makes everybody throw up. Like, here's a trick. If you ever know somebody who's going to go on an incentive flight in a fighter jet, tell the pilot that person who's about to fly bet you that the pilot couldn't get him sick.
Oh no, I would never do that to somebody.
Dude, it's so funny.
Oh no, it's not even because it's so easy. It's those. There was a in Virginia. It was called Apollo's Chariot. It was a roller coaster, but it worked on negative G. It worked for negative G as opposed to positive. And it's funny because it was like the lap bar was essentially at your crotch.
Oh,
like you had nothing at your shoulders. Everything was right at your center of gravity, right at your crotch. You were locked in that way because most of the forces were downhill, like you wanting to come up out of the seat.
Oh,
yeah, it was pretty funky. So essentially, you're like, and the things they give you to hold on to are right at your crotch. So essentially, you're holding your dick the whole fucking ride for dear life, saying, "Don't let me come out of the seat."
Right. I can just imagine that too. It's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. So, Apollo's Chariot, Busch Gardens.
Those are the places I've been to, stationed wise, and then I came back to New York in 2008, and then I was stationed at Niagara Falls Air Base here.
Gotcha.
Yep.
But then you wanted to be like, hey, I'll just get right in here.
Well, my plan was to work on fighters here, but they got rid of fighters without me realizing it.
That's right.
Yeah, because this is my hometown, so like I lived here. I was like, oh yeah, I'll move back home. They got a base. It's like 15 minutes from my house. This will be perfect.
What fighters did they have?
They had F-16s here.
Did they?
Yep.
Those are probably the ones we probably needed to scramble back on 9/11.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, great, now they're not here. So I changed my MOS and I started working hydraulics on C-130s, the Hercules.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about those Tuckers too.
Yep, and then after I re-enlist again, that's when I started getting my migraines really bad, and they had to put me on Imitrex injectors.
Yeah, I've had cluster headaches, which are akin to migraines. They're like they're both neurological.
Yep.
Migraines usually affect females more than males, and males usually get clusters. But well, whatever. But so they give you Imitrex for clusters, and sometimes clusters are weird. But I got this really weird side effect from Imitrex that. Even it's okay, it relieved my fucking headache, but then it was like I got pins and needles on my feet. So like when I walked and put pressure on my feet, it was like I was walking on like pins and needles or like sharp sand. You know that kind of feeling?
Oh yeah.
Like or if you ever lost feeling in something and when it comes back you get that pin. That's what it was like. I was like, oh, this is weird. I don't want if it's doing this, I don't want to fucking know what it's doing to my brain.
Yeah, the cool thing with Imitrex with me is it pretty much knocked me out.
Yeah, well, the first time I had a shot, I had a weird reaction, I think, that way, too.
I was like, okay, good night.
Yeah.
So then after that, I couldn't find a job for a little while in New York. It was a really bad time around here.
New York State.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're up in New York State. When you say New York.
Oh, I keep saying it, yeah.
That's all right. I'm just correcting you for my own edification. No, it's jobs in the city? No.
Well, it's hard to find a job in Buffalo. We'll say that.
Yes.
So I did finally get one, and I started working on copy machines and networks.
Making copies. So you became a tech.
Yeah, which it's kind of like the military working on the aircraft. I mean, you get a manual, you look up what the issue is, and you fix it. And if you can't find it in the manual, you just mess with stuff until it starts working again.
Yeah, and then there's the internet, too.
Yeah, exactly.
That whole place you can go look for answers. It's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, I remember being a tech too, a field technician. For PCs.
Like
but I mean, it's the same thing.
Right. I really enjoy it. It's a good job. I get to travel a lot, and I work for a private company. It's only 4 employees. It's the owner, his wife, the lead technician who's been there for 10 years, and me.
And he's got a lot of accounts, if I recall.
Yeah, a ton of accounts. So I'm busy a lot. In the summer, it's a downtime.
Yeah.
So it's like I do a lot of training in the summer.
Yeah. Really?
So that's
no copiers break in the summer?
rarely.
I guess, yeah, because less people are in the office. God, dude, my office, like every other week, it was funny. Once a copier goes, they're never the same.
It's true.
It really is. Once they go, it seems to be a steady downgrade of problems. Because one thing just fucks something else up somewhere. And it's
usually it's a temperature thing too.
Just
it's like
gummed up a certain way that it's just never going to work right. It just never seems to.
Yep, and that's why I'll always have a job.
Yes, exactly. Printer tech, paper, copier tech. Those people, you'll always be working until we're paperless.
Exactly. That's why I was like, and there's always going to be some form of paper.
Yeah, you're always going to need something.
Exactly.
It's just not as much.
Right.
And printers are becoming disposable now.
They are. I mean, you can go to Walmart and buy like a brand new printer with ink cartridges, which is cheaper than getting new ink cartridges.
Yeah, and that's scary because it's like, this is a disposable printer. Why would I even buy ink cartridges again?
Yeah.
It's sort of
and you wonder why we have so many landfills and stuff. I'm like, seriously?
It's weird. It's like diabetic meters because once you buy a meter, they'll practically give you the meter. It's because once you need their little strips to read the blood. So.
Yeah, and you can get like a meter, and it comes with like 10 test strips starting out.
Yeah,
you buy it for like $15-$20.
Yeah, and then when you go buy the actual strips, they're like at least 3 times that.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like I'll just buy a new meter every week.
Yeah. No, I think they got that figured out though. I think we've done the math.
Oh.
It never quite works out. You get too many meters.
Damn.
But yeah, it's that they got you by the balls. But I do have several different meters because every year your insurance company changes. Like, oh no, now we're hooked into this company. We're getting a sweet deal. So
yeah, it's like you're doing One Touch now.
Yes, exactly. Next week, Life Scan, which is Bear. So I've got like 15 different meters.
Yeah, I did actually. I was a tech for One Touch for about a year and a half on the phones.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So I did that for a little while in between coming back to New York before becoming a technician in copiers.
Yeah, that's pharma. That was my industry when I was in IT.
Yeah, it was not bad. I mean, it was okay. I liked it.
There was a lot of money in pharma. We were in it at a good time. I'll never forget. Viagra had just become huge.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, when I started the company I worked for, it was like happy days are here again.
Right?
Yeah, thanks to that boner drug. It was nuts. You need something? Hire them. You need someone to fucking index your shorts? Hire somebody. It was that good, You need someone to fucking rearrange your sock drawer? Hire somebody.
Yeah.
What no one thought was, someday you're going to have to lay off all these people that you just, because that was the solution. Throw people at it.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Yep. It's crazy. Hire more people. Throw people at it. I'm
trying to think. Yeah, so after getting this job and doing really well, I got lucky. I mean, it pays me very well for the work I do. And I learned a lot. I started working at my other job, which is I'm a bartender at a winery.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's right. We talked about this. And
so
Jean's sister is was a big wine person, and she worked on it in Virginia, out by what's the heck's name of that university out there? University of Virginia, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. That was it.
Nice.
And apparently there's a winery out by Virginia Tech. Who'd have known?
I think there's a winery next to every school.
Yeah, I think
or a bar.
Yeah, wineries are becoming very popular. They're like microbrews.
Oh, it's true.
Craft
like around
beers.
here where I live, before I left for the military, I think there was 7 or 8. We now have 24
you're
wineries.
Upstate New York, though. You are. Are you in wine country? I don't even know where wine country is in New York.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. We're not really in wine country. We have wineries on the escarpment here, and that's just because of the way the escarpment with the soil, just perfect for growing grapes.
Oh yeah, so there you go.
Mm-hmm. And then in the Canadian side wineries, they're all near us too. They're about 45-minute to an hour drive from here.
Yeah.
So we rivaled them a little, and it's a good competition.
Yeah. There you go. So that's why you guys. That's right. You're up. You do that's right. I forgot. Upstate New York is big wine.
Oh yeah,
and it always has been. It's not like that's new.
No, it's new for our area where we are. But yeah, there's always been wine up here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's my weekend job. So I do that for fun on the weekends.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then I'm also a writer for a website.
I was gonna say you're talking about blogging there a moment ago.
Yeah, I'm a writer for AnimeKiosk.com, which is obviously an anime website.
Cool. So you're an anime guy.
I used to be really big into it. I'm not so much now.
Oh,
but
wow.
The cool thing about the website is they send me to all these conventions for free.
Awesome.
As long as I write an article.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with it. My friends all love going to them still. Like, we go to Detroit two or three times a year.
Yeah. And you can always branch out of anime. You can, broaden your horizons.
Well, I'm planning on doing the Buffalo Comic Con and then doing the Niagara Falls Comic Con in Canada next year.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
you
the
going to do
plan.
NYC Comic Con?
I would love to, but I need a little bit more experience writing first before I can apply for that one.
Yeah, we're actually trying to get passes there now, too.
That would be awesome.
More for the film, so we could film shit. But
that would be cool.
It would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I want more B-roll, to tell you the truth. I just want action shot, and we may still do that anyway all throughout the city. But because that Comic-Con isn't just confined to that one building. It spills out all over the streets and everywhere. That's the interesting thing about it.
Oh, yeah, it's all over.
Yeah, it goes loose all over Midtown.
Right? Yeah, speaking about the movie, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's really getting excited now.
Have you guys shot anything yet or no?
No, it's weird. There was stuff we were going to get this month. Really, originally our plan, the last 2 weeks, were to go out to LA and San Francisco and film because we have subjects out there. But I talked about on the show that dropped, there's like one guest that we have that, or, he has a stipulation, he's the last interview, and it just became more advantageous to push that out to November. So we're saving that. And so when I tried to coordinate some other filming, it just, August is a tight month. A lot of people go on vacation, so we're now slamming up. September is going to be insane. So
yeah.
Essentially,
we got to figure August. A lot of people kids are going back to school.
Yeah,
too, so the parents got to get ready for all that.
Well, there's a lot of people vacationing too. That's really what's going on. So
yeah,
and we knew that going in. We knew it was going to be hit and miss. But the more we tried, the more it just seemed like, that's good. Plus, these folks had already assumed they wouldn't have the last 2 weeks. They wouldn't have to worry about the last 2 weeks in August because that was the original plan.
Right.
So that kind of bites you because then the plans they made for that period are now booked. So, but September, October, then we shot some test footage, and I have 30 seconds of usable footage so far. We shot all day. I got 30 seconds of usable footage, so it's a cool thing.
Yeah, dude. Hey, that's where you got to start at. That's a good thing.
Yes, and we also found our gaffer. So
nice.
Yeah, so that's a cool thing.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see this thing.
It's gonna be fun. Fun. So
I bet.
Can't wait to get you in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, we got to get you and a bunch of. I'm doing listener podcast listeners, i.e., people that don't have podcasts, in groups. So probably groups of 5 and whatever. So probably get you together with people that you may even know.
Ooh.
Yes.
So I think I already know a couple, hopefully.
So you never know, so we'll see. Then that all becomes a part of scheduling and, believe me, I thought scheduling for a podcast was hard. And I've scheduled for bands, so I know what it's like to get 4 people in the same room at the same time regularly.
Right.
But this is like all of that on a whole different level.
Yeah, so. This is going to be a lot harder to get.
Yeah, this is a big challenge. It's cool because that's what I know. As of September and October, our crew is committed. So then we roll. It's just all this lead-up time.
Nice.
But it's given us plenty of time to do other prep work that we've needed to get done. engage other guests, which we've been doing. You know about Kevin.
I'm trying to think what we talked about last time.
Yeah, it seems like we almost knew where we were going. The agenda was smoother. It wasn't as exploratory.
It's just harder because I know we talked about stuff, and I'm trying to like recall most of it.
Yeah, but we don't want to fake it. You don't want to go back and just sort of, oh, and here's where I said yuck, yuck, yuck.
Exactly.
Did Jean sit in with us last time?
Nah, she wasn't there.
She wasn't here either. She had to go out. Yeah, it stinks. Well, that was.
I'm trying to think. When you talked to Trent, I think maybe it was before that one. I think you talked about video games a little bit because I was really surprised. I didn't know you played games. I was hearing it, and I was like, wait a minute, we could have talked about video games this whole time because I'm a huge gamer.
But I haven't been playing as much lately. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for me. But I did get the Steam controller, and I'm going to pre-order the Steam. That the new box so you can bring it to another TV.
Yeah, the system, right?
Yeah, because why not? Plus, all my consoles are on the fritz.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm with a movie. I'm not going to take $400 and throw it into a fucking console at this point. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah,
I could take that money and go put it in the movie. I could think of 300 other things I could do with that cash. So.
Exactly.
I can deny. I've been denying myself the PS4 and the fucking. And it is a case of denying myself because every time like something has come up where I had that, I put it towards the business. Like we needed a new Mac, so that's where that went. So every time I've done the right thing in my mind.
No, it is because
put it towards the business.
This is furthering your career too.
Yeah, totally. So
that makes sense.
I would love a console, but a new console, especially since now the disc even went on my PS3.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. And the Xbox disc player will only work when you hit it right.
I heard that.
It's a matter of luck. So yeah, and it's the old one. It's
Yeah.
this old and I even had recased it in this cool ass clear plastic case with blue lights and shit. And,
oh damn.
Yeah, but now it's just an old fucking dusty piece of shit.
It's a paperweight now.
That you have to hit to get it to work.
Damn. Yeah, dude, I've been playing. I got a PS4.
It'll play any downloaded games, okay though.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. But then you got to go buy downloaded.
I played two
games.
things. I have an Asus G751 gaming laptop.
Okay.
Because I need it.
Tech.
Yeah, the thing's a beast. It has 8 gigs of RAM. It came with it, but it's expandable to 16 or something.
Okay. Why laptop though? Because you just want to play on your lap.
Pretty much.
Okay.
No, I do a lot of LANs.
Okay. A lot of LAN parties.
Yeah, and I play Steam games constantly. The majority of my friends, we either play on Steam or we play on PS4.
Yeah, Cameron's been playing on. Well, you're also military. A lot of military guys are very into the big strategy games and shit.
Yeah, that and shooters.
Yeah,
we play a lot of shooters.
Are you guys really into it?
Not bad.
Do you make talk? Do you do the military talk and shit?
No, well, I do because I can't get that out of my head. Like if you're doing a game like Call of Duty or the new one that came out for PS4, PlanetSide 2, where they have bases like A, B, and C. I'll say Alpha, Beta, and Charlie.
Yeah,
I can't help but that.
I know, but it's funny because my son makes fun of you guys, and he probably kicks your ass. Although he's 17 now, so it's not quite as funny. But when he was 14, it was hilarious. I loved listening to these fucking you could tell there were guys my age just getting fucking pissed.
Oh yeah,
because my 14-year-old son was kicking their ass and taunting them.
We played Call of Duty nonstop. My sister had a YouTube channel for Call of Duty. She had thousands of followers.
Yeah.
She put her game up all the time, and me and her would go around and just wreck people.
But now my son is also getting more into Steam. He's getting more into these big strategy games, which I love.
Mm. What do you play on Steam?
I used to play a lot of Civ. Now I'm playing a lot of classic RPG-style games.
Ooh,
the new... What the heck is it? Hang on, I could just open my library while I'm sitting here,
Right.
I could tell you some titles. Recently I just got Icewind Dale, the old one.
Oh my god, I had that.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. What do I have up? I was also playing Knights of the Old Republic. I've been playing a lot of old games, just sort of going back and getting nostalgic for Star Wars in particular.
Oh yeah. Especially with it coming up soon too, in December.
Wasteland 2. I've been playing a lot of that, which is Sort of like a third person version. It's like old Fallout. Really, it feels like old Fallout.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2.
Yeah,
but it's not broken. It'll work on your system,
right?
And I've been playing that, sort of gearing up for Fallout 4.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
Which I am going to go Steam on.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. The same thing.
Yeah, because I mean, the more I thought about it, it's like I don't have to invest in another system. I can just buy this. I'll have the controller, which has always been my problem with computer games.
The controller? Yeah, I have a Xbox controller I hook into mine for certain games, like Grand Theft Auto 5.
They never seem to work right. They never seem to work right. Steam says this is going to work right, so I'm going to trust in them. Plus, it's a funky looking controller. So.
Something different.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah. Actually, before I got on here, I was over at my buddy's house. We were playing Payday 2 on Steam.
Oh, wow. Let's see. So I was going to tell you some of the things. Yeah, so I had the Star Wars game, a lot of Civilization. I haven't been playing a lot of these. Oh, that was it. Shadowrun, the Shadowrun games. Shadowrun, Dragonfall, which are...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, old, like, D&D modern version. It's like a modern version of D&D with guns.
Have you ever played D&D?
Oh, God, yeah. I was talking...
You still play or no?
I would if I could.
If you had time.
Yeah, the problem is I've traditionally been the DM, so it's so much work to do it right, and who the fuck has the time?
It's true. I
would love to get in a game group where I could just
now.
Play. I would love it. Yeah. It'd be fun.
Well, what I do is usually it's Wednesday or Thursday night. I DM on Skype.
Oh wow, really?
Well, yeah, one of my friends who I play games with a lot. He doesn't live too far from me, but the other one lives in Chicago.
What game?
Just D&D 3.5 edition.
So it's oh wow, you're sticking with 3.5.
Well, I did it because she's never played D&D before and she wanted to learn.
Yeah. Well, you didn't change to what do you call it? Pathfinder.
5th edition?
Pathfinder.
No.
You know what Pathfinder is, right?
No.
Pathfinder is essentially 3.5 supported. Pathfinder, you'd love it. Pathfinder is the guys who were like partnered with D&D. Yeah. We're doing like Dragon Magazine and shit. See, you bet you didn't know I knew this kind of shit.
That's awesome.
They were partnered. They're the fucking game company. Shit. If you go there, I can't think of their name. I used to know all this shit. I was a big D&D nerd. Oh God, let's look up Pathfinder and find out who makes it. I'll know their name as soon as I see it. Nissan. Paizo, Paizo. For a while, they had taken over control of Dungeon Magazine and Dragon Magazine for TSR after TSR was bought by Wizards, and I think Wizards eventually by Hasbro. But so at some point, they subbed out the magazine to these guys. These guys did an amazing fucking job, and they kept expanding sort of their own brand and their own, D20 product until eventually when the big split came with 4.0, they were like, well, most of the people we know don't even like what they see, so we're going to use the open game license and essentially support 3.5 fully. We're going to call it Pathfinder. We're going to fix everything that's broken in the rule set and, tweak it to their style.
Right.
And here you go. You now have a fully supported 3.5/D20 world that they're making product for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
surprised you missed Pathfinder.
Oh, it was weird, because I haven't played, we haven't played in a while. After 3.5 came out, we played for a while, and then we went to the D10 system. We played Vampire and Werewolf.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that system that well.
Yeah, and after years of doing that, we heard Fourth came out, and I didn't really like it.
Everybody hated Fourth.
Fifth is out now. People
we're playing Fifth right now. I'm doing 2 stories in Fifth.
Now, is it... I've heard it's a merge between, it's like a second and a third sort of merge.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the way they do it. It's a lot
back to
different.
old. It's back to basics, I thought.
Exactly. It's not as complicated.
Attacks of opportunity?
There's different ways of doing attack of opportunity.
this is the truth. I was a big fan of basic.
Yeah.
And first edition, but even I like rules light. I mean, rules can get in the way of the story.
Exactly.
And they get away the fun. So yeah,
well, this
I always
one's
strip
it's
stuff
simple.
down.
Like the attack of opportunity. If you're facing somebody, you're not going to attack of opportunity. But if one of your buddies comes behind him, guess what? He gets the attack of opportunity on him.
Yeah, we used to house rule shit like fighting withdrawal.
Yeah.
You're defending yourself and you're backing out of the room. You can't take an attack. You know what I mean? You're prone essentially, but you're because in a real fight you can do that.
That's how we do it. Like the two guys who storytell for 5th, which I don't, I just play in them. They try to make it I know it's a fantasy thing, but as fighting towards real life as possible.
That's where I got crazy with 3.5 when it became a little too much about miniature management, 5-point step to attack of opportunity. Yeah.
But that's what I do right now. I have 3 games going on.
Because at the time they were looking to sell minis.
Oh yeah, and they made some good money from what I remember. I never bought any, but
yeah, they did and they were taking a page out of fucking what do you call it, Mage Knight. That's where they were hitting that. Oh my God, we've gone into a whole other subgenre of geekdom.
Right?
Yeah, basically I was raised. I mean, when I was in 4th grade, I lived in Orlando, Florida. I went over to a friend's house who had moved to a new house. He used to live down the street. Now he lived like across town. So this was the rare time I saw him after he moved. And he was the one who was like, "Do you want to play D&D?" I was like, "What's that?" And like, we spent most of the time rolling up this character, which I didn't know what I was doing. So I was a magic user. So he let me go into a dungeon by myself as a magic user.
It's like, no, you're squishy.
My fucking 1 hit point or whatever. Watch out for mosquitoes. Hey, yeah, I'm pretty much sure I was dead pretty quickly. But the experience was like, this is so amazing.
This is cool.
You can do this? Yeah, exactly. You paint a picture in your head. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what I'm like. I need to get out of reality a lot.
The kid who I read The Hobbit very early, so all that shit turned me on,
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
Yeah,
yes.
I love that stuff.
Me too. Well, are you a Lord of the Rings geek?
You know what's funny? I'm not, but my girlfriend loves it. But it's funny because she doesn't like games and most fantasy stuff.
Yeah, but she's into the rings.
She's into Lord of the Rings and Fast and Furious.
Wow, I need to find another Rings fan, another Rings person for this, because I told Chris Bain we were going to do a show on it. I still haven't found I want it to come organically.
Right. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen all the movies. I refuse to read.
Yeah. I mean, with the Rings, you kind of got to read those, or at least listen to the audiobooks several times.
That I could probably do because I listen to podcasts constantly.
Yeah, but I'm looking for the guys who are kind of like me, who read it once a year.
Oh yeah, no.
Don't have a problem going through that whole thing again.
Yeah, it's way too much. I couldn't do it. There's no way.
Yeah, well, it's probably more like once every 3 years now.
Yeah, but still, so you've read them, man. I will never have that experience. I just don't have.
I read them when I was very young, but ever since then, since I've grown up, it's all audiobook every time I go through them again.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense. I love to listen. I love to listen. And if you quizzed me after you quiz me and quiz someone who read it, you wouldn't tell the difference. I might even know it better than the person who read it.
You might take it in better because you hear it.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
And I can read and clean the house.
Exactly.
That's how I sucked down The Martian that everyone's all... You remember? Because that was a fee breed, and even Q was talking about it. And... Hey, we talk more about shows. What's your favorite shows? Tell us what your listening schedule is usually.
Well, normally... that all depends, too. It's Smodco first, 99% of the time.
Yeah.
So usually it's Edumacation's the first one.
Yeah, it's whatever drops that week or those days.
Because, I mean, at work I drive around a lot, so I'm listening to podcasts. I don't listen to radio. So it's usually Edumacation, ThatMan on Fatman, which is yours.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy.
Thank you. And we
I
appreciate that you do.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Seriously, we're glad that we do. I mean, that is the greatest thing, because you're who it's for. You're our audience.
I love it.
Me too. I love doing it. I love it. It's made my life better. But anyway, go on. So what else?
Fatman on Batman, of course.
Yes. Okay.
Which has changed.
Yeah, but do you like the changes?
I do. I mean, I'm a huge Batman fan. I think I can't say I'm more than Kevin, but I'll say I'm very dedicated. I have what, 13-inch Batman tattooed on my right arm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I'm actually looking to have my first tattoo redone with one of the bat symbols.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I want to wait. It's another thing. It's like that's another one of those $200 or whatever down the. I got other places to put it right now.
Right.
Maybe in the future, but it's on the back burner.
Oh yeah. What's something you can do later on? There's no big rush on that.
Yeah. Longer you wait, probably better.
TSD, of course.
Yep. What
Say You?
Yep. Which both dropped new shows this week.
Oh yeah, I know.
He was back from the dead.
The TSD so far.
You haven't listened to What Say You yet?
No, not yet.
It's actually a little older.
Really?
Yeah, I think they recorded a little before the TSD was recorded. So.
Oh, so it was before Q got sick, you think, or?
No, he's definitely, but it's before. It's definitely before he came out, because just you can tell chronologically things he cites. He cites some older things, like from a week ago or something.
Right. Man, I mean, I listened to Smodcast, Hollywood Babylon. I'm trying to think of things I listen to that's not on Smodco, because there's really not that many.
Yeah, I mean that happens. It makes sense. Yeah. I branch out now. Well, I've really branched out now since the movie. The movie's pushing me to find, all things obscure and interesting, and I am looking for a lot of offbeat, people that are really using
something
the media.
there.
Yeah, they're very self-indulgent, and it doesn't matter that anyone listens, or
right.
My string cheese podcast, or I don't even know, whatever. Whatever.
Well, my friends, they had one, and they stopped doing it because they're starting another one instead. It was a gaming one, which was really cool.
Yeah, gaming ones are good.
Oh yeah,
that's how
now they're doing a new one. It's kind of about games, but other things. I think it's called Super Jump Radio.
Oh wow!
And my buddy's a bigger gamer than I am, and I got almost every game system known to man. But he's got more than me for some reason. And that's all they do is they talk video games, they play games. He does videos online.
The first podcast, which wasn't a podcast, they called it Internet Radio. The first Internet Radio I ever listened to was a game show. It was about games. Two guys talking about, role-playing, D&D. And they had Monty Cook on.
Oh, no way.
And I ended up getting in touch with Monty Cook as a result of that show, and getting his email address, and then asking him if I could send him something to sign, and he did. And so I sent one of his books. He signed it and sent it back. It was pretty cool.
That is cool.
It is cool, yeah. It was one of his planes. I was very into Planescape for a while. So that's second edition.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah, Planescape was Monty Cook. And, Monty Cook wrote the third edition DMs. He designed third edition.
Yeah, the layout and everything, which they all follow now.
I have Talus, his city, which is his... Okay, when he built 3.0, he built a city environment. I'm not sure if he had it and brought it over, but it was the playtest zone for all the 3.0 rules.
Wow.
And then later after the fact, he printed it, he published it, and I showed you this thing. It's like the Walt Simonson's Thor omnibus edition thickness. I mean, it is huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's got 15 different ribbons for marking places.
Holy crap!
The only thing that sucks is my cat ended up chewing on one of the corners and kind of ruining its collectability. But it's an amazing fucking. If you want to DM a city, it's got every detail laid out. I mean, it's this huge spire in the middle, and it's laid out like a travel journal. So you can quickly index shit. It's an amazing role-playing achievement.
Damn.
Yeah. And essentially it's all his personal campaign in city. So, yeah. I don't think you can find it anymore, but I would if we ever meet in person, I'll show it to you. Check it out.
Heck yeah, dude, definitely. Well, hopefully, if that all works out, maybe this fall we can all meet down in Jersey.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, I just got to figure out what date. You said Marshall's going and everybody?
Yeah, so touch base with him.
Yeah, definitely can.
He seems to be the coordinator of something going on. So.
He knows what's going on. I'm like, I don't know. Just tell me when and I'll be there.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm the same way.
Oh, yeah.
I got too much shit going on. It's crazy.
Right? No, I hear you, man. You got to stay busy.
Steam
You got to stay
OS
busy or go
weekend
crazy.
deal.
So.
I'm very glad we could do this makeup now. Because this will drop next week, so this will be the next show. This will be 24.
That's cool. Well, as long as it sounds good, because I don't know. I'm like blanking on a lot of stuff, and I feel
it sounds
bad.
great, dude. It's good. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's natural. That's what I liked about our conversation last time. It felt very much like a natural flow. Like we've known each other for years.
I know, isn't it? It's really cool, too, how that worked out. Like, we meet through Edumacation on there, and then we just talk on Twitter, and now it's like, cool.
Yeah, and now I found out you're a fucking RPG nerd.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm such a nerd, it's ridiculous.
Well, here's the game I would like to play if I were to play a role-playing game again. Go to, it's called Goodman Games, is the name of the company, and the name of the game is called Dungeon Crawl Classics. And the cool thing about it is it's very much like first edition or basic. Their big thing is we're only doing one big book, one rule book, and lots of dungeon modules that are very old school.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm seeing them right now. That's crazy.
I have like 3 of the different prints. That's how into it I was. Like there's 3 different printed covers at least. I have at least 3 of them. And I always do that because it's like when you teach someone a game, you're always going to need another player's handbook. So having another player's handbook was not a big deal.
Right, it's true.
But they do a very cool the way you originate your character is essentially like a grinder system. So everybody walks in with like 15, with like 5 0-level characters. And whoever is done with that first adventure, that's going to be your character. So you build your character like from scratch. You don't even know what he's going to be.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a very randomized thing. And they take it back to that. And they even encourage, like, because everybody wants to tweak the numbers and up the scale and make themselves. They say, don't, trust me, do it. Do this way at least once. Because you will be surprised. You may become, like, what a character you thought was a reject may become your most intense playing experience. You know? Don't shortchange yourself playing what you thought was a loser character.
Right?
Because sometimes the character wants to win.
I like it, man. I really do. That
Cool. It's a very cool way to do it. And what was cool was Goodman actually developed this system back in when they were doing 3.0 modules, which I have a shit ton of. But they actually created a 0-level dungeon that was and it's 3.0 rules. So what are the NPC classes? It's like adept.
For 3.0?
Yeah, it's adept.
It's like fighter, ranger.
No. I'm talking about the NPC classes.
Oh, the NPC ones.
Yeah, they have one that's sort of like an adept, which is between a magic user and a healer. There's a noble, and there's a warrior. So that's what you start as. You're a 0-level character in that realm, and it's really cool because you watch these players sort of invest.
Bro.
Yeah. You invest from a whole. It feels more logical when your party is formed. It's like, hey, you're a bunch of peasants about to go take on this ogre. It's very small scale, but it's huge.
Yeah, it is because you're a regular person. You have no skills yet,
and you're building. You don't have to worry about getting a backstory to all your characters and all that shit.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I just favorited the page, so I think we're good on this one. Like, I love stuff like that. Like we did. You ever watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer when it was out?
Oh, dude, wait till you see. They've commissioned like old first edition artists to do like Errol Otis and stuff.
Oh yeah. They had a role playing model.
Yeah.
I think it was 3.5 edition or I can't remember what it was. But when you make your character is based on you.
Cool.
So whatever skills you have in real life, there's a conversion and stuff.
I'm fucked.
I
have no skills. I guess I'd be a diplomat.
It's so cool because everybody's regular people, and you get like whoever the DM is or whatever usually picks one of the people to be a slayer, and then everybody else is however you actually are in real life. I mean, there's minor tweaks and things, but if you were military, you break the game. Three of us who were all military. One was a Marine, I was Air Force, and the other one was Army, I think she was.
Oh, wow.
And because we just had regular basic training and stuff, and just like small weapons training and large weapons training, or aircraft for me for avionics, you got 6 stats to everything. So it's like, well, we just broke the whole game. We're almost stronger than the Slayer is.
That's why they have house rules, so you can modify shit like that.
That's what we did. We ended up, we're like, we're not doing it like this. We're like, all right, you know how to use this type of gun and this gun. That's about it. It's like, okay.
But to answer your question that you asked way back when, I would love to play RPGs. It's just a matter of time. And, I haven't gone the whole technology route. Like, I host on... What do you host on Skype?
I just use Skype right now.
Like, how do you do die rolls? Do you use a shared app, or you trust them? So they just roll and they tell you.
Well, I did it because the one girl wanted to learn how to play. She's never played before.
Yeah.
And the other guy...
I was going to say, you could just put a camera on it.
I could. Well, there's actual websites and stuff that shows you a table. Like they have Tabletop Generator, I think, is on there through Steam.
Okay.
And there's a D&D thing. Where
I know the Tabletop Generator is on. Is that what that can be used for?
You can use it for anything. Tabletop games. We played Monopoly on there. I mean, you can play almost anything.
So you can just do die rolls.
All the mods are free.
Oh, cool. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, they go through Steam Workshop.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, I just typed in D&D and it came up with like 5 different things. I'm like, oh, so it has all your different types of dice on the table, and you can pick it up with your mouse, and you shake it with your mouse, and you let go, and it rolls the dice.
If you go on your phone, there's a DCC, there's a Dungeon Crawl Classics app, which has most of the rules already in it.
No way.
Seriously, go, and it's free, I think. If it's not free, it's so inexpensive, and it's worth every penny because it's got a die roller. They use Zakachi dice. So they'll use 5-sided, 7-sided, like all those weird... That's the other thing I meant to tell you that makes it... If you're a dice person, they made it so that just for you, instead of going plus this and plus that, you go up and down a die chain.
No way.
Yeah, so they have all the weird dies. So they have the 5, the 7, the 9, all the offbeat weird ones. So 16s and 30. It's you need to have a 30.
30-sided die.
Yes, you need to have a 30. 30's not even weird until you start getting 14 and like, oh, wait, that's a 7.
Oh, my God. That would be so strange because I'm so used to the standard ones,
Well, there's other ways to do them, too, because like a lot of them, like the 14... Is it the 14? Yeah, there's a 14-sided die that that you can use as a 7 also.
Oh, yeah, because you 1 and 2 is 1.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a couple other weird ones. There's a couple ways to do 5s. Like you can do a 10-sided that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you can buy a 5-sided weird fucking die that I have.
Dude, that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with trying that. That'd be neat.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Magic is dangerous. Meaning, like you have to roll for magic. You don't just get... It's not like, hey, I casted my spell. Magic in the game is dangerous. Like, so... And it will change you as a character, apparently. Like, if a spell misfires, you're going to morph. Like, you could end up with antlers or some shit. Like, your character starts to change. Yeah, it's very cool. And it's also...
be really entertaining, too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. It really is. I would say it's really more a role-playing game for people that have played role-playing games before and are willing to be a good sport about it.
Yeah, and have some fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, this last one that we did, like I said, I'm doing 2 5th edition stories that I'm playing as. I'm not DMing. Oh, my kids are home. I had no idea they came home.
That's all right. I hear them.
I know.
How old are they? How old are they?
Cool.
How old are they?
They are 6 and 10.
Oh, okay. So they're still little. You got a few more years.
Yeah, thank goodness.
But those are good years. Like they're 6 and 10, they can kind of take care of themselves. You don't have to watch every move.
Exactly. Until you hear yelling, and it's like, oh, gotta run up there real quick before one of them beats the other one.
And I don't know about you, but I know that all my senses have increased since having children.
Yeah.
Like I can hear shit, that like, and even Gene will be like, what was that? I'm like, what do you hear? I'm like, I don't know. I heard something. And like, turns out, like the kid has yelled or something. It's like bionic. It really does. Sometimes it is like bionic.
It's like, wait a minute. I heard that.
I know I heard something. My spidey senses are tingling. That's what it's like.
Or so.
That's actually more
it's
what
like the whole thing. You hear nothing. You know something's going on, too.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. They are way too quiet. I know how much sugar they have had today.
Yeah, that's true. They're up to something.
Yeah, in fact, I got them. That's the other thing for the conventions. I do a little bit of cosplay. Got them cosplaying now, too.
Oh, well, that's always easy.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're going to, it's a picnic. It's an anime picnic called Anabash. It's local. It's like a 45-minute drive from here.
Uh-huh.
And my entire group's going, but so is my family. And we're all dressing up as villains.
You should meet up with the BS excluded cats because they like Joseph and Shadai. I know Joseph's been doing cosplay lately.
Really?
Yeah, he's been getting really into it. He's been in Spider-Man a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a Batman villains. So the youngest, the 6-year-old's going as Catwoman, or Catgirl as she calls her.
Gotcha.
The 10-year-old, she's going as Poison Ivy, which my buddy's making the costume right now. He's making a cape or a cloak. It's going to have different colored leaves going down the back of it.
Oh wow.
My girlfriend's going as Harley Quinn.
There you go.
Yep, and I'm going as the Joker.
There you go.
Yeah.
You gonna do the picture too?
What's that?
Gene and I always wanted to do Joker and Harley Quinn. But,
dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, just never gotten another thing. We're not, that's a lot of work.
It is. Like, luckily, I have somebody who makes costumes.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say.
The material and be like, here you go.
Yeah, it's much better if you know someone who does it. But yeah, there's a lot of work involved in that if you want to make it good. If you want to, unless you want to just go buy some shitty Halloween costume.
Yeah, and I can't justify doing that. It's like, well, this is actually cheaper to get the materials myself. It takes longer.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Joseph's getting into it now too. Like we talked about, he spent a lot of money on his more recent Spider-Man costume. So
yeah, it's crazy, but it's so much fun and it's cool because like you go to these things. Like the first time
I see it. I get it. I mean, I get it. I understand why people do it. It is a cool thing. Okay. It is a fun thing.
It is, and that's what it is. It's like, yeah, I'm a little bit older now, but going to these things, it's like it doesn't matter. It's like everybody just had such a good time.
Well, just be careful because it's an underground to sex party. So there you go.
I knew I liked it for some reason.
I've heard that for real. I'm not even kidding.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Nope.
No, I've only been doing it for a few years, pretty much since I got back. But yeah, my friends.
You're not that into it yet. It's when you see the tight-knit groups of cosplayers, and that also sort of LARPers, they kind of fall into that too.
That doesn't surprise me. I can never really get into LARP. I'm just like,
I don't get anything where you make up rules.
Yeah.
Like where you get, I hit you. Yeah, if there's no fucking, you know what I mean? No, you didn't. I'm not bleeding.
Exactly. Like,
now I hit you. Boom.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I never got LARP. Yeah. Plus, you can't eat pizza while doing it.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah. Turkey leg. It's like the Rennies. It's only one step. It's like you got the Rennies. They're annoying, but LARP is like, ooh boy. When the Rennies look down on you,
it's like that's bad.
Yeah, it's a bad pecking order.
The nerd pecking order.
Yes, and that's what I said recently. Origins and Gen Con, like those are the last true nerd cons. You don't see anyone bragging about going to those.
Like I go to local ones just because, well, I don't have to travel far. I don't have to take days off of work to go, which is nice.
Yeah,
and I don't have to buy a hotel room.
Yeah.
All
right, man. I've really enjoyed this. See, we opened up a whole new section this time.
See, hey, you're right. Yeah.
So now next time we have more to talk about. We'll
exactly.
Talk about gaming.
Yeah. Anytime, man. I really loved it. It was really fun.
Oh, cool. No problem. We'll definitely have you back. You're a good friend of the show.
Awesome. Well, I love the show, so that works out very well.
Yeah. And well, I mean, I like talking to you, so it's been fun getting close.
Heck yeah.
All right, man. I will talk to you next time, and I'll see you on Twitter. And everybody out there, this is Midnight Smoke. And what's your address on Twitter? You're at...
Mine's at Midnight Smoke 1.
Okay, so I knew there was something different about it. I couldn't figure out if it was an underscore or a... Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. I couldn't get my regular handle that I normally use on Twitter. It was taken. But
if it's like you, I had a name that was taken by me, but I couldn't remember it. So, it's like, now I'm that number 1 because I can't crack my old code.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that was long time ago.
Right.
I'm not even that handle anymore.
I was going to say, if anybody wants to see any of my articles or anything, they're on animekiosk.com.
Cool.
I usually do 1 or 2 articles a month. Usually it's all anime related or convention related.
Cool. Anything else? Do you have anything else, Blake?
Not yet. I'm possibly doing a D&D podcast, as a few people on Twitter told me to do.
You should. You should, especially
I don't
knowing
know.
that. I mean, there's a lot out there, but that doesn't mean that you can't put a staple on it. You know?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't mind being on your podcast. I feel more comfortable, but I was like, I don't know about running my own.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how you do it. You know, if you're good with the subject, it's not as hard as you think.
Yeah,
And
that's
do it
true.
with other people. It's don't do it alone. That's for sure. Especially not your first.
Yeah, like James at Big Daddy.
Yeah. Big
Jimmy
Daddy.
V. He told me about a Fuse meeting instead of using Skype for it or something because he said, "Yeah, it'd be great for D&D." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll check it out."
Yeah, also, Google hookups or Google meetups, some sort of meeting room. Google has a thing going.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Google
There
Meetup,
was somebody
I
else who
think.
was telling me about it too.
Yeah.
Oh, the Anderson Council.
Yeah. A couple people said it recently because I reported having some Skype issues. But
Yeah, and I was like,
my Skype issues are intermittent. It could have just as much to do with who I'm connecting with as the weather. You know what I mean? Sometimes.
It's possible. I mean, especially far locations and stuff.
This is great. We've been going on for, I don't even know, and you've never dropped once.
So that's good. That's really
an
good.
hour and 20 minutes, no drop. Usually you get an hour. After an hour, you get a drop. So
Right.
there you go.
Well, hopefully we all get together in the fall. It'd be cool to see like you guys, Storm. That'd be awesome if he came out because I'd like to actually meet him too.
Yeah. It would be cool.
Okay.
I'm down.
But-
I'll make time if I have to.
Sweet. Heck yeah, I will too, believe me. I want to go out there anyway. I've never been to the stash, and I want to check it out.
Wow, that'll be cool.
Okay. All right, sir. Well, you have a great night.
I will talk to you later.
Definitely.
See ya. Midnight Smoke, everybody! Yay! There he is, Mr. Midnight Smoke. So glad to have him on, and I can't wait to have him back on. And who knows? I feel like maybe he's going to invite me to a role-playing game soon.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah,
Where does he live?
it doesn't matter. He's doing an online thing using Skype.
Cool.
So
That's even cooler. I didn't know you could do
if
that.
he builds it, I will come. I would love to just play for a change.
I didn't realize that people did that.
Apparently you can now with technology. I asked him what he did with die rolls, and he said, yeah, I trust him. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it a lot easier.
Very cool. The people can still play.
Yeah. And plus, if you just listen to that, we had a very long talk about, we totally geeked out about RPG games and stuff, and I turned them on to Dungeon Crawl Classics, and it was awesome. So I hope you all enjoyed that, but we took it to a fringe of geekdom and nerddom that you seldom get to talk about. There you go. True nerddom. Even comic book nerds are afraid of RPG nerds. So. All right. Well, God, I'm feeling like, ugh. Well, I feel like a release now, having spot, and you can hear it in my voice. It's a little raspy.
Yeah.
That's not like from talking. That's from getting tired, because I've had a lot of sleep. Anyway, Natural High. Tomorrow we go see Kevin at the Mallrats screening.
Yep, in Brooklyn.
Yep. And who knows what kind of crazy shenanigans will occur tomorrow. But we're grateful that our kids will be there.
Yes.
So it's fun. We don't get to indulge in the Kevin Smith lifestyle as much as we'd like to with the kids, because a lot of it is 21 and up. But this is something.
I think, but not
since
yoga.
it's just a rated R movie.
Not yoga hosers.
I know. I can't wait for that.
That'd be so cool.
Wait to take Maura.
I know. It's so awesome.
I mean, Cameron too, but Maura because it's made for, as he said, it's made for teen girls. So,
yep.
I can't wait.
It's going to be great.
All right. Well, now we can shift over to Miss Tesdy Groupie and her pick of the week. I tell you, last week, she was spooky. Totally fucking spooky. Because, all right, so we had Ellie on, and Ellie and I were talking about the Tell 'em Steve Dave thing towards the end, and new listeners, and blah, blah, blah. Then boom, like, Miss Tesdy Groupie, like, her pick seemed to seamlessly integrate with that, interview.
Really?
Now, here's the thing. That was supposed to be Midnight Smoke's interview originally, but I lost his original file. So I had to move Ellie in at the last, I had to move her up.
Right. And
in so doing, like, it jived. And then what was even spookier was Argentina told me she had recorded a different one about a slightly different subject earlier, and then for no reason decided she didn't like it, and then re-recorded the one she did.
Now
that's just fucking weird.
Yeah. See, and the thing is,
that's spooky.
She doesn't hear the show.
Yeah, it's very. I know exactly. She doesn't know exactly. She doesn't know she wouldn't know who the guest was. And even if she did, if she knew it was Midnight Smoke because we had mentioned it the week before, it didn't matter because it ended up changing.
It was Ellie.
Yeah, and Ellie was the one, who didn't know as much about Tell 'em Steve Dave. So, it just sort of dovetailed right in.
That's crazy.
Yeah, totally. It was like that's. I told her she has some sort of psychic ability.
She's magical.
Yeah. I don't believe in a lot of hocus pocus, but I'm finding a little circumstantial evidence to think that she may have some sort of psychic linkage.
I think you believe in stuff like that. Like you believe in superstitions.
I believe in
certain ones you do.
The possibility. No, I believe in superstition like tongue-in-cheek. I see it more as numbers, as like statistics.
Right.
Like statistically, you're eventually going to get bad hands, bad luck, bad whatever. Life is a bell curve. Odds, statistics are constantly going on around you. Sometimes you just get bad ones.
Right.
I don't attribute it to... I don't really believe in superstition. That's what I would attribute superstition to.
Right.
Just a bad string of off numbers in the random number generator of life.
Huh. That makes sense.
So, what the heck was I talking about? Ghosts and goblins, or superpowers, or secret abilities of podcasters? And anyway, so yeah, that was Tessie Groupie last week. So let's see. Let's see if she has any way. Well, this might be obvious. I'm sure she knows with the Kevin announcement.
She's putting a spell on us.
She could very easily tie it in this week. There are a lot of easy ways to tie in. So this week it won't be as uncanny. Unless she completely ignores us.
Yes.
All right. So let's find out. Even though we're not really going to find out until I get all this stuff later in the week. Because we're really recording this early because we're so keyed up. But here's Miss Tessie Groupie. And the pick of the week. ThatMan on Fatman presents... At Tessie Groupies. Tell 'em Steve Dave. Pick of the week.
Hi, and welcome to the TSD Pick of the Week. Can you believe this section is almost 1 year old? A couple of weeks have been lost, but this is pick number 50 already. Wow, time flies, and so many episodes have already been discussed. Some weeks the picks have been easier, some they're a bit harder, but episodes are added every time, so there's time before I run out of picks. And to keep up with the current stuff, let's make this week's pick TSD 252, Apple of Death. This has been maybe the longest hiatus in TSD history, almost a month without a new episode. It has not been easy, but these are the moments when you're glad there are so many episodes. As Q is sick, Walt brings Gideon and Sandy Jeff as backup. And after talking to Q, the guys talk about their vacations. Sandy Jeff has been to Toronto and has gone camping for the first time. Bryce has been to Florida, visiting SeaWorld and Disney World. He says he has been in a sort of camping place, but Walt seems to disagree. Walt has gone on a cruise, yet again. But the worst part is the island visit, as he and his family go on a tour that suddenly goes into a forest, where he encounters the Manzanilla de la Muerte. This affects his sandal-wearing feet. Boy, do I love Walt telling stories. Also, the announcement of the biggest Talent Steve Dave event of the year, the 1-3 World Tournament, that is planned to take place in August. And if you know Walt's events, you surely can't wait too. But in the meantime, I hope you re-listen to this episode, I hope you enjoyed, and you're all the way.
Chin.
All right, and there she goes, Miss Tesdy Groupie. I wish I could tell you what it was, but I can't because when I'm recording it, I don't really have her production yet. So I'm just going to have to wait and see.
After that.
Wait and see. Okay, folks. Well, what you're hearing now is sort of, being tacked on to the show that we recorded yesterday because we had a really sort of crazy and amazing night last night. I don't know how. Well, let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
This is a subject that is near and dear to Kevin's heart, and something that Smodcast listeners are already very familiar with. And all right, so the other day, I guess this was 2 days ago now. So we record this on the 5th. So on the 3rd, I was contacted by a listener. And the listener said, via private message that they had a really cool, secret or whatever, a really cool thing that they wanted to include me in. And they thought it was really neat. And I responded saying, if you you can tell me just so long, I made the caveat so long as that there's no harm will come of anyone as a result of knowing this information, that kind of thing, or it has nothing to do with anyone else's suffering or harm. So he's like, nah, it's nothing like that. So I don't know. Of late, we've been having some weird experiences with listeners, and so I was a little nervous about what they're going to say. And then, to make a long story short, so eventually I gave the person, I knew the person well, I know this listener well enough that I felt comfortable letting them contact me via my number. Right. So I don't know why I had to delay to say yes. This person had my phone number, so they called me, and of all the things that I anticipated to come out of the mouth and into my ear, of all those things, what I heard was just not on my radar. I just did not expect it.
What did you think he was going to say?
I'm sorry, I had you muted there for a second.
What
you're
did
chewing
you think?
a granola bar.
Sorry. What did you think he was going to say?
I just had no idea.
But it wasn't.
I thought, I don't know. I just didn't know. Some sort of issue of something. I don't know. I just expected trouble, I guess. I don't know. But the person said just blew me away because it was I never expected it. And what the person said was, I have Hitchbot.
Oh my God, right?
I was like, fucking A! I got so happy. I'm like, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And, the funny thing was I immediately trusted this person. Because very simply, it's too bold a claim to make and not have it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's too easy to verify. So I don't really know all of the details and how this person got it. But here's what I do know and can share with the audience. This person is not the person that the video of the assault, which is supposedly a hoax, did. He's not. Apparently, essentially after when the bad stuff happened, this person had been, I guess, a fan and following the Hitchbot story, and he and a couple of other friends decided to go on a search and rescue mission for the remains of, for the alleged remains of the alleged Hitchbot. So I guess they found him, and I don't know all the details, but I was told that, from what I heard, it made it to the stash. So, I don't know, if there were pictures in there. I don't know. I don't know all the details, again, because other than the listener approaching me and saying, hey, I have Hitchbot, I really have nothing to do with it. But upon hearing that, there was only one thing on my mind. I'm like, well, there's a show tomorrow. There's a show right now, because at the time, I think Kevin was on
Caroline's.
stage. Yeah, Caroline's for the second night. But I'm like, there's a show tomorrow in Brooklyn, and it's free. And at the end of Kevin's Smodcast, he essentially says to the listeners, hey, if Hitchbot is out there making the rounds. Now, granted, I guess they weren't sure what Hitchbot's state was. But Kevin was like, hey, it'd be really cool if Hitchbot came by. So, as soon as this person told me, I said, you have to bring Hitchbot to the show. You just do. You got to show him to Kevin. From my angle, I was like, you got to bring it out on stage. It's going to be a moment. This is going to be national fucking news. Well, bring it out. He'll ask you all about the story. You can put the record straight, and then because also what had been going on, this person had contacted this university and alerted them. I have it, and wasn't in the process of mailing back all the stuff. Essentially, this guy was doing all the right things. So,
more than I would have done.
Especially in light of the national story going,
because a couple
the
days,
human interests. It was it was the New York Times
right.
on the 3rd. It was a
couple of days had gone by, and there wasn't huge news like find Hitchbot. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but
they would have
you would figure Hitchbot popping up again.
Yeah,
and on such a public thing, that would have been really cool. And as far as I knew, that was the plan going in. But I knew that this person was nervous, and
he thought that you were nervous.
Well, whatever. I knew that this guy was nervous.
Yeah.
But it felt like someone really put a scare into him at the university side.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And I felt really bad because then, okay, so long story short, why would I do that? So the next day, so here's what happened. So he contacts me and I'm like, well, we have to bring this thing to Kevin. We have to. Come on, you're a fan. I'm a fan. This is Kevin. Kevin is totally into Hitchbot. We have to go and bring this. We have to.
He's Canadian,
and he was on. And
the Hitchbot's Canadian.
And the listener was on board. He was like, "Yes, you're right." So what I did was I reached out and alerted Kevin's people that, hey, I have this, a listener approached me. He has, the alleged Hitchbot, and, or he allegedly has the Hitchbot.
Right.
And,
had you seen the picture yet of him?
I'd seen a picture of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still were a little skeptical?
No, not at all, because I knew that the guy drove a truck, and it was a picture of the Hitchbot in a truck's, a car, a passenger seat of a truck.
Right.
That looked like his interior. So,
it was definitely him.
Yeah, and again, I sort of trusted him because you don't make that claim. You know what I mean? Unless you're fucking talking truth. Yeah, maybe there was a little skepticism, but not a big amount.
It's really hard to pretend that story.
Yeah, and plus, again, I'm an enthusiast, so once he told me I was going to take him at his word for the simple reason of this is going to be so fucking cool if he's not. If it's true. So, and if it's not, obviously, it'll just be a fucking hoax and it'll peter out and this won't go anywhere.
Right.
So, and it won't be my fault because it's not like I fucking...
You knew.
I have never claimed to have Hitchbot. You know what I mean? So, it's not my fault. I'm just a middleman in this transaction.
Right.
So, we reached out to their camp, and it was so funny because essentially I said, I mean, we reached out to Ashley via, and I wrote an email, and eventually I said, so would Kev mind if we, if I instruct this guy to bring Hitchbot to the, is he cool with us? I think he said, is he cool? Would he be cool with us?
Can we bring Hitchbot to Brooklyn?
Yeah. And it was a one-word response that Ashley forwarded us, which was totally.
Yeah. Kevin said totally. And can't you just picture him saying it?
Exactly. It was
totally.
Like, it was even in quotes.
And he's probably
like, totally.
He probably said it with a big smile on his
yeah,
face.
exactly. Oh, yeah.
Totally.
And I was getting swept up in it. And I really, in my email to them, I may have set bad expectations, but they were the expectations that I thought we had already agreed to.
That you had already come to.
Yeah, which were, hey, we'll bring this thing out on stage and we'll fucking reveal it to the world. Here's Hitchbot.
So you actually talked to...
Via the email.
Oh, I know, but you actually talked to the listener about doing all these things too. The one that...
Yeah. I mean, that we were... Okay, so I guess between... When agreeing to all this the night before and actually going, this person went to the university, I guess, to kind of tell them what the score was or whatever. And the university, according to this person, strongly dissuaded, I guess.
Well, I talked to him.
Showing it off or whatever. And again, they had the real scare in him because he asked that nobody publish any pictures that they'd taken of it and, that kind of thing. So I don't know what they said to him, but they had him nervous.
Right.
And it's a damn shame, too.
Well,
he could have had an amazing moment. It sucks for him.
I talked to him a little bit, while we were, there. And he had talked to one guy that was positive about it, but then the second guy...
In the camp. At the university.
University camp. And the second guy... Hitchbot experiment. The second guy was the guy that didn't like... all the stuff that Kev was talking about doing to it. And I think he took it seriously.
And all the Kev...
And, all that stuff. I mean, and you guys know that he's... it's all funny.
They're French-Canadian. Maybe there's a language translation.
I know.
I mean, there might be. Sometimes when you hear,
Maybe if you put A on the end.
All he hears... No, that's French-Canadians speak French.
I know, I'm teasing you.
Duh.
From
Quebec. Duh.
Duh.
No, they are from Quebec.
Oh, bring the Hitchbot on stage.
Oh, bring out the Hitchbot. Oh, do not bring it out. We will sue you. Oh. All right. I mean, I don't know what, this is the truth. I don't know what they said specifically to frighten him or scare him.
But he got scared.
Yeah, but definitely between the night before and us getting to the show.
It freaked him out.
Yeah, something freaked him out because when we finally got there, and it was so weird because timing was crazy, like Kevin Smith. Like, as Gene and we had the kids there, which is really cool.
It was such a great day.
Yeah, and we were literally getting to the gate when this person arrived.
Yes, it was like time is of the essence.
Yes, so it was like amazing. So it was like they got there, got out of their car, walked up the block, crossed the street, and walked right into the event. They didn't have to wait online. So cool. Didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
Because we were it's walking in at just that moment.
Everything was happening like in a smooth way.
Yeah, and so then
there was a little wait on the line though for us, about an hour or so.
So then here comes a wacky situation. So as the day progresses, obviously, your phone starts to drip away.
Stinks, man.
And we were there a while, so my phone just like once it gets down to like 75%, it just seems to start to fall like a stone.
Can't they just be solar powered?
Yeah, you really should be.
Oh, solar powered because the sun was so.
Anyway, yeah,
would have been great.
Yes. So, like, I'm waiting for word from Kevin's camp,
right?
Via, my phone. So if we don't get the phone, then we're not going to be able to meet up, and then so therefore coordinate. So how's this Hitchbot thing going to happen? So
I will preface it by saying
So my phone is dying, but meanwhile, because my kids have better phones than we do, better model phones than we do,
better phones, but our son does not go on the internet while he's there.
Yeah, well,
he just listens to his own music. So by the end of the night, his was still at 55%.
Yeah, it was nuts. Well, we did, and that's the funny thing. We charged up all these things at a cafe before.
I
know. 2:00, all our phones were close to 100%.
Yeah,
mine was 99.
I know.
When we walked out, and then this was, now we're approaching 7:00. So that many hours, my phone is almost dead, and then. By the time they would need to contact me, my phone was essentially dead.
Right.
Now, before that, I had sent and tweeted out, I sent to Ashley.
A message, yeah.
A message saying, my phone is dying. If you guys need to contact me, this is my daughter's phone, which is at 86% here.
Yeah, well, because she's got the special case.
And she's got the special charging case, and she turns it off
a lot. They're such good.
And yeah,
they're better than us.
Yeah, meanwhile our phones are dripping 20%. Power out of them.
Mine was at 13% when we left.
So I sent. Here's the phone that has the most charge. It's my daughter's phone. Please use this as a backup. Long story short, that's the phone that they call in on.
Oh my God, and who calls?
Yeah. The man himself.
The man calls my daughter. What the fuck?
We didn't expect that. We never. First of all, you don't expect it to be the man himself, and
what had happened is he called, and it was a missed call.
Yeah.
So she just pressed the button and handed it to you.
Yeah, and she goes, someone just called.
It's a California number.
Yeah, she goes, I think it's Ashley.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. When I picked up the phone, I said, hello? I heard a very deep voice in the background go, hello? Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I knew instantly it was Kevin. I'm like, now here's the problem. I'm in this big venue. They are blasting music. So yeah, Kevin Smith had just called in on our daughter's phone. And
so funny. So now she has his number on her. She has his number on her phone.
Yeah, that's already become a little running gag.
I was joking with her, wouldn't it be funny if? Ooh, sorry. Wouldn't it be funny if he butt dialed you one day?
Yeah. Well, that sort of already happened, I think.
It did?
Well, okay, so
that's funny.
So that number goes down. So he can't hear me.
Oh.
He can't, and he's like, we're trying to get to the show. He wasn't there yet.
Okay, so he was.
He started doing that whole yell thing. So I know he can't really hear me.
I can't hear.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Wait till you get here, then you'll know why.
So I said okay, and we hung up. But then I realized, well, he can fucking read my text now. So I started texting him from Moore's phone.
And I'm sure he appreciated that.
Yeah, and so I was able to say, okay, we have Red Rover. It is in the trunk. The package is in the trunk.
Did he respond to your text?
I believe so, yeah, at some point. Oh, yeah, eventually, because he told us where our location was.
Oh, that's
where he was waiting.
So Maura has those on her phone, too, like the messages.
Yeah. Oh, let's see.
That's so cool. I know, but I think it's cool. It's so neat.
All right, well, now something.
I do.
You're right. Okay, well, here's why it becomes even neater. So he essentially summoned us via text. So myself and the anonymous listener,
right?
The amazing anonymous listener.
So I was not there. So you need to kind of
So we go around.
Paint a picture.
We go around to the very here's a picture for you. It was on essentially the shore of is that the East River? Whichever river. I think it's the East River that divides Queens and...
It was the East River.
not Queens, but Brooklyn and Manhattan.
Yes.
So it's right along, facing Manhattan side. You can kind of see the Empire State Building in the background. Yes. Actually, Kevin tweeted out the picture now, so it's not like this is a big mystery.
Yeah.
So
it's like a skate park.
Yeah. So if you make a U of a street around it, so it's like a whole city block has been leveled flat and it is an open field.
Right.
And there's this also cement skate park towards the end, which is close to the water side. So essentially, it's this open lot with a beautiful view of Manhattan in the background.
It is beautiful, yes.
And so where they sort of do a pre-stage or a backstage is if there's a U around this block, city block, and the other side is water, the one side. So the other sides are streets. If you made a U, it was on the left side, which is 11th Street. Yeah. So at the very end of 11th Street, it was sort of quartered off, and that's where he was.
Yeah, and they had a little stage in front of...
That was a very long description.
A little stage in front of the screen, which was like one of those, like, you know, like blow-up screens.
Yeah, they did one of those big inflatable screens, and God, we were right next to, like, what is the front of house where they set up sound and video and everything.
Yeah. We wound up in...
I was surprised. That little projector did a great job.
It did a great job.
But anyway, we digress.
We wound up getting a good spot in line. Like, I was a little worried. You should have seen... Guys, there were like 2,000 people there.
Yeah, it was packed. This barn... I mean, I was looking at this field that they had. I mean, it was a big space, and it was packed towards the end.
Huge.
So,
it was huge.
Kudos to Kev.
Good job, Kev.
I mean, it helps it was a free event. You know, it encourages more people to show up. That's for damn sure. But there was a lot of people there. I mean, it was very impressive. Again, go online. You can see the pictures, Kevin. All right, so we make it to the back. Ooh, that was odd. And so we make it to the backstage area, or the side of the fucking venue is really what it was, on a side street. And it was weird because now I'm getting blocked by security. Like now the guy's like, and he wasn't really security. You could tell he was event staff. I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm like, Kevin just literally sent me a text to meet him here. And he's like, what? So he actually got cool for a moment. And I said, can I just text him back and see if he comes out and waves me or something? And he gave me this guy gave me that moment. So and he was very cool. He's like, Kevin has a lot of weird, he told another security guy, well, Kevin has a lot of interesting fans. You never know. Let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt, to another security guy.
Oh yeah, well, it's true.
Which was cool. Yes, I will say that. And so quickly then Kevin like steps out from beside like a tractor trailer truck.
Yeah. And
kind of like waves me over and the folks with me.
Right.
So when we come over and we, of course, there's handshake, but it was funny. We jumped right into business, and we started talking, and his hand was out to shake it, and he's like, "Don't leave me hanging, dude." I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I shook his hand because he left his hand out. He offered his hand to me, but I was so swept up, and oh my God, here's the guy in Hitchbot, and da 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 da. Yeah, and he's like, "Don't leave me hanging, dude." But he said it with a smile because he could tell that I was all worked out, and like I gave him a cool handshake.
I'm surprised you didn't hug. That's a hug.
Well, this time we hugged yesterday,
you can't.
2 days prior. I mean, guilty of overhuggage.
Yeah, that's very gay.
Yeah, so what? Look who you're talking to. Fucking biggest drama queen of the fucking bunch. Anyway,
you guys don't even know.
So Kevin, we started already talking, and now though, sort of it becomes clear how nervous Hitchbot's holder.
Hitchbot's
his
surrogate dad.
What do they call it? His handler.
His handler. Yeah. He was getting nervous about the whole thing.
Yeah, at this point he had talked to, like you had said, he'd talked to, I guess, the first guy, and he was cool, and then the second guy gave him real cold feet. So,
and that had happened like 5 minutes before you guys left.
I assume.
Him talking to that guy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It was just, we were sitting there talking, and then when you guys, so.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was wounds were that fresh. So, yeah, so as we started talking, it quickly became like, oh, I mean, Kevin's like, there was a point where Kevin's like, yeah, you can come out and you know what? Because we started to kind of talk about the story and he was like, you know what? Save it. You can tell it right on stage. This is going to be great. And yeah, but then that I think was the moment where this guy, it became clear to him that like, oh shit. You know?
And that's when he said,
yeah, that was, yeah, he couldn't, like, you know, we can't bring it out and all that. And you know, that, and I was like, ah, man. But I will say this, in that situation, I guess that guy is a much stronger person than me, because I would have been like, fuck them.
I know.
And I would have been on stage with that, you know, because who am I? Who am I if not a media whore? But
he wanted to be loyal to the creators. And
yeah. So
I get it.
He really felt. I got to say, for you know, he has a stout, you know, inside. You know, one of those very stout fellows. You know, who's stuck by his convictions.
He's stuck by it.
But you know what? The thing that sucks is I felt like he had been scared into that. You know, like he really was about to have. Or what could have, it really was. He was about to have a fucking moment. You know what I mean? Like, just because of the timing, that would have been, because no one knew where the fucking thing was. You know, he would have been like, hey, it's here and it's safe and it's going back to the creators and it's all cool.
See, and my whole...
But, I mean, you know, he got these, I don't know what happened.
My whole thing...
I don't know why the universe, didn't they see it was not in... Couldn't they see this is in their better interest?
Right.
I mean, this is going to, put Hitchbat, you know, more publicity.
Yeah.
There's like a fucking Kickstarter kicking up to help it. You know, people want to help this thing. This was going to be a celebration of positivity for Hitchbot. And I don't know why the university would have been scared by that.
Well,
and
maybe...
would have been so, like, bothered by that they sort of put the scare into this person.
Right.
So,
and it really was.
And I don't even understand it because they released this fucking thing into the public. What did they expect? This is America. We fucking, you know, people fucking knock each over for a fucking iPod.
It's true. It seemed like when I was talking to the listener about the whole thing and he was talking to the university fellow, like I said, the second guy, it seemed like he got the impression that he didn't think, you know, Kevin was talking about the Hitchbot nicely, and he wanted to do, you know, sexual things to it. And...
But anyone who listens to that, again, if you listen to the last Smodcast, which is still the last one, and about the Hitchbot, I mean, it's what they're saying is, I mean, they love the Hitchbot. They felt bad for the Hitchbot. It's a joke. I mean, it's what they were saying is, look, in Canada, it can make it across, but it comes here to America. And, you know, within, you know, weeks, and everybody predicted that. I mean, I don't think there's an American in the United States. I mean, that's part of the reason the story is so, you know, picked up so much legs, because what did you expect?
Right.
I mean, no one's shocked that now, as it turns out, if you start to do the evidence and you look online, what it seems happened, because I read this long article about it yesterday while online. What it seems happened is that the people prior to our listener, there was some pranksters online, you know, I guess they're YouTubers or they have a show, and they got involved. And I don't blame them. Hey, if I was in that position, I'd probably do the same damn thing. Hey, it's a publicity stunt. So, but I guess to them, the prank was Hitchbot goes to, you know, South Philly or whatever and gets mugged in an alley. And so, you know, that's what they did. I guess they got a hold of the Hitchbot, they brought it to Philly, and I guess they staged that video somehow. Because I thought I heard that Hitchbot doesn't have video camera, so there could be no video of it getting assaulted in an alley.
Right.
So that viral video is a hoax, I believe.
Well, whatever they did to it, the listener was also telling me they knew what they were doing because they took out the GPS. And they did it they did it in such a way.
So the pranksters there's still thought that the pranksters are the ones who gutted it.
That's
because there's all kinds of talk that the pranksters didn't do that they just left it, or who knows.
Yeah, but how many people?
But listen, if you release release what you call a robot to hitchhike across the United States, which is the robot is I mean, from what I understood, was like essentially 6 or 4, a bunch of iPad type parts,
right? And it was the size of a 6-year-old.
Yeah, well, and most of the body and stuff was a spackle can. It was a spackle can with the wireage, and then but the brain was essentially a frickin' some sort of pad device.
Right.
You put a pad device. Listen, I had a pad get ripped off at an airport. So, I mean, that shit happens all the time in the United States. If you're going to fucking put an iPad on top of a spackle bucket and call it a robot, and then drop it anywhere unprotected, that fucking thing is gone in the United States.
I know.
It's just the way it is. It's a fucking $200 laptop. Even if someone can grab it, it's either A, they're going to take it for themselves, or B, sell it quick for half price. Because the things go for $400. So, all right. So, the logic that thinking this thing was going to be safe in the United States is crazy.
Yeah, because
But that said, and the United States go to east to west, that's a long thing. Now, I wouldn't have fucking broke it up if I got my hands on HitchBot. That's the truth. I would check it out. I wouldn't break it up. And I would do, I'd get one of its bucket list things done. Because it's just cool. Because you end up, on Twitter with the thing.
Yeah.
That's just as cool.
So all the people that have been involved, like getting him to where he wound up, are they all like open and say this?
Oh yeah, they take selfies of themselves with it all the time, and that's because again, it can't take video. It can take stills every so often. Apparently, it has like a 20-minute cycle still shot.
Okay, so the person who finds it and gets him on his way is really needs to take a picture because that's
they may get snapped by by HitchBot. Like I've seen pictures on the feed of HitchBot like in the back seat and it's flashed up.
That's
it's
so
taking a picture
funny.
up so you see the back of the heads of whoever has it at that time.
That's cute.
Yeah. So and it says it's programmed to say a lot of goofy things according to its virtual intelligence program. So, it's supposed to interact, and it's supposed to I guess it has global GPS triggers, so say you drive by Mount Rushmore, it'll say, oh, there is Mount Rushmore. Please don't fuck me. Ah.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That was a joke, folks.
I don't think he uses that word. HitchBot.
You don't think HitchBot says fuck?
No.
I don't know. I think that's been well established.
Canadian. They don't talk like that. No, I'm just
Please
kidding.
don't fuck me, hey. Oh.
I love that. The whole thing.
Why are you cutting a hole in my spackle bucket? The size of a sausage.
The fact that he got through Canada, totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that was apparently, I guess, part of these pranksters' thing. I mean, they pre-established his demise.
Right. But we don't even know if it was them that did it, so.
Who knows? I mean, that's what the internet's saying.
But
what sucked was, so now,
rescued.
okay, so fucking HitchBot is rescued by a listener, a Kevin Smith fan, and this guy is sort of feeling persecuted.
And he went there for this purpose. He went to Philly for this purpose.
Yeah. So anyway, so we get this golden moment. So now, it's clear that he's got cold feet. But at least at the end of the day, the idea was, well, at least Kevin's going to fucking meet HitchBot. And as I told him, dude, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, and I understand, but when we were in the car we're driving HitchBot back, because I was helping him out, I was like, dude, you should do it. You should go. I was the enthusiast, man.
Because he was already saying then that he wasn't.
Yeah, because he was so nervous. I was trying to, and I was like, fuck it, we should do it. This is gonna be your golden moment, because it would have been. And I felt like we almost had him there, like he was on board first. I felt like when we got there, but as soon as he opened up the car door, back to reality.
Yeah.
But then, so in spite of all this stuff and all this craziness, then he's like, oh, Kevin, can I video the reveal? So I'm like, wait a minute, you're videoing the reveal, but you don't want to, but you're very nervous about photos and video.
He wants it for himself.
Yeah, so that was essentially the thing he wanted. So, like, it became awkward because the trunk shut like 3 times. But, and then finally it opened up, and then he took it out and sort of set it up. So I guess he couldn't video it at the time. He probably handed off the camera to his girlfriend, I think.
Did he have to put it in, like, put it together to...
Yeah, he kind of... I mean...
Because it's...
All right, anyone's seen it. It's like a spackle bucket with fucking pool noodles.
Oh, that's what they are. That's what I thought they were.
And its base is like a kid's child's... like one of those booster seats.
Yeah.
So its butt is a booster seat.
So it can sit.
And it's like a spackle bucket on top of that, where I guess it houses its guts, and it has like sort of a solar panel on the front where it collects its power. So it can power itself.
Which is all like...
And then I guess it would have its head, but that was completely gone. As you could see from the picture Kevin posted.
Someone decapitated. That's so terrible.
Yeah,
so embarrassing to be an American.
So
in these moments.
So then... yeah, so I guess we started taking pictures at that moment, so it was
the headless robot.
Yeah, and...
so funny.
And everybody's, everyone's kind of looking on... just smiling and getting a giggle. And so, I mean, it's not like it was a secret because we were at just the end of a street.
Did, people see you?
Listeners were popping over the fence and probably grabbing shots.
Ah. And now, the security people, too, saw you.
Oh, and security people are, telling people not to look over the fence. But they were telling them that before, just because Kevin is there and they don't want him to, yell over and harass Kevin.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so Kevin gets that great and I'm the one, I will proudly say, that held Kevin's camera and took that shot. Yes, it was me.
Oh, it was it was his camera.
It was his camera, my holding his camera.
Now, does he have an iPhone or does he have a Samsung?
It was an iPhone.
He has an iPhone.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm pretty darn sure it was, but I didn't.
iPhone 6.
Yeah, he had the larger size.
Yeah. See, you know what? I was looking at some of these because, you're sitting with people the whole day and they're taking pictures. I like that screen on that Samsung, the big screen.
Yeah, but then you're on a Droid. It's totally different.
I know, but why
interface
can't the iPhone have a bigger
well,
screen?
The 6 is a bigger screen.
Yeah, see, that'll have to be my next purchase because I like that big screen.
There's that weird version now that's it feels like it's between a phone and a...
I want that.
Why don't you just get an iPad mini?
I want that too. So
anyway, we got money. Right now, all the money... If we wanted any of those things, we should take that fucking money and put it back into the fucking movie. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
As you know. Anyway. So, we had this cool moment, and Kev was a little disappointed that he wasn't going out on stage, but that sort of melted away when Hitchbot came out and made its appearance. Kev went little kid. I was like, oh, look at it, and ooh, wow, and ooh, it does have arms and its little legs, and
and he had little boots, like little rain boots.
Yeah, so
they're so cute.
And what was even funnier is I got a couple pictures with Kev, as he requested, and then he said, so then I was trying to hand Maura's camera, because now I have Maura's phone,
right?
So I was trying to hand Maura's. It became I have Kev's phone and my phone, and I wanted to get a picture with it because it's it's historic.
Meanwhile, we're waiting for you, and she's like,
know.
Daddy's not going to lose my phone.
They should have just came. Those two should have just came. Then I regret not having brought them because it would have been smarter at that point.
Yeah.
Why they didn't come? I guess because I knew we were going to be running back and forth with a Hitchbot and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean, but eventually,
but I should have just brought them, and they could have hung with Kev while we went to get the damn thing.
Oh, because he was waiting for you. He stayed and waited.
Yeah. So,
that would have been cool.
It was funny too because he's like, "Let's go get this thing." I'm like, "You're going to come with us?"
Yeah,
he's like, "No, I got to wait here." I'm like, "Okay, yeah."
Yeah. He's so excited.
Yeah, I'm like,
he's
"Let's."
Like a little kid.
I don't think you want to come. What? Just the three of us?
Why not? He could have gone.
Nah. That would. Come on. As soon as he walked 3 steps off the block, everybody would have been mobbed.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Hey, there's Kevin Smith in a jersey. He's wearing that Chiefs jersey.
I like that a lot.
Is that the Chiefs? No, who is it? Who's Chicago?
I don't know. I'm not a football fan.
It's hockey. Oh, that's hilarious. Everyone out there is no, I'm leaving that in. That's too beautiful.
Okay, you know what?
I mean, it's bad enough I don't know who the fuck the name of the team is, but at least I know the sport.
Is it the Seahawks?
I don't want to look it up.
I'm
on
just
a roll here.
embarrassing myself. I'm going to stop.
Oh, yeah. So, so now we have our moment. And let me tell you something. Kevin was very respectful. Upon hearing that the university was nervous because the listener told Kevin, because they were mad because you said you had sex with it, and Kevin got disappointed. Now I really wanted to write. I was prepared. I just thought it was fucking hilarious because people have signed all kinds of things all over this hitchbot. Their name and their date, and I was gonna write. So I had my little, one of those paint pens. You shake it up, like permanent, paint marker. And I went to write lies, sex, murder, and poop. My American Journey by Hitchbot. And as soon as I started writing, I wrote L-I-E. Kevin cracked a smile and said, "Don't write it. Don't write it." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, they'll just get mad. And they already think we're sour on it, and they'll just make it worse." I'm like, "All right," and I just crossed it out.
Because
and then I just kind of write "We love you," Hitchbot or something.
He got the feeling from.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah, it was so. I didn't write that on there.
Right.
I just what I wrote, I crossed out immediately.
You know what? Because all of our listeners, not all of them, but most of them know how Kevin.
It's an inside joke. Kevin loves the damn thing. His Smodcast episodes about Hitchbot have probably done more publicity for that fucking Hitchbot than Hitchbot's publicity.
And how many shows has he done on Canada in general?
Yeah,
he would
exactly.
Never do
He's
anything.
So anyway, that's why someone doesn't know what they're doing over there if they're viewing this in Kevin's involvement in any way negative.
They were just instilling fear in our.
And that sucks. So if that's the case, all of this I will say is alleged, secondhand information, and somewhat speculative as well. So
right,
take it for what it's worth.
Right, because we weren't listening to the conversation.
We don't exactly. We don't know. All we know are the facts that a listener contacted me, said he had Hitchbot, that he was not the guy who did anything bad to it. They had rescued it, and that he was in the process of returning it when I convinced him to say, "Hey, you should show it to Kevin," which he had already sort of kind of wanted to do because apparently he brought it to the stash, and I think even Ming's birthday party. So, I mean, it sort of made some sort of rounds. So, I mean, it was clear that, he was trying to make it to Kevin with it, so and why wouldn't he? Because Kevin asked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was doing the right things. So I'm glad at least I could facilitate that happening for whatever it was worth. And it was a really cool moment, despite it not being it's a fucking great story. The whole thing is a great story. And, it didn't become the national sort of media thing I thought I hoped and sort of speculated and said, because I really thought it was going to be so cool. Great. It was going to be Kevin. It would have been so cool for Kevin. It would have been this moment of national media attention about, hey, we found Hitchbot. And it may still happen because he did publish that picture.
And he's okay. He's safe.
Yeah, he's going home.
He's going home.
He's going home. Anyway.
Oh yes, this is not over because he tweeted that picture.
What? No, it is over, but because here's what I know: that's supposed to be sent off. So Hitchbot is supposed to be, I guess being FedExed or whatever back to Canada.
Right.
So, in which case, no harm, no foul. Nobody's got anything. And that's the other thing. They know where it is. So what would be any concern or scare about the fact that Kevin tweeted out a picture with the Hitchbot?
And he was in New York, where that was one of his on his bucket list to go to Times Square.
That was one of the things when spirits were still high, and everything before whatever souring influence stepped into this thing. When spirits were still high, there was the bandied about idea of bringing it to the Empire State Building, as was mentioned in the episode of Smodcast. And, like, taking a picture of Kevin at the top of the Empire State Building with the hitchbot. But, yeah. So, that's what I know about that story. That's what I know. I mean, my evidence is the fact that, hey, I got a picture with it, and I'm going to drop that with this episode, because, why not? Now that Kevin has tweeted it out, the rest of the story can be told. And what I can say about the listener is they are a stout person. They are dedicated fans to, Smodcast and all that, the universe. So, and they, from my perspective, were truly, all their motives were in the right place,
right,
as far as I could tell. And I don't know why anyone would bother them with negativity, because they were clearly not doing anything negative. Other than, getting that moment and trying to get it to their hero, who is an admirer of the Hitchbot. So, I don't know. Well, it didn't go like we thought, but it's still a good story.
Yeah.
And it's a nice way to wrap up this episode. A good story to wrap up the episode with.
And the kids got to meet Kevin, too.
Yeah. So, there you go. This big bonus Hitchbot segment has been brought to you by Hitchbot. Alleged Hitchbot.
The armless Hitchbot. And headless Hitchbot.
Yeah.
Did he have arms? Or no, he had no arms and no head.
I don't know. Oh, no, he was a spackle bucket with just, you could see the picture. It's pretty much has it all.
Check it out.
Yeah, so Kevin goes on, he does his Q&A, this is a very performed Q&A. I guess the venue had set it up where a guy was going to essentially ask Kevin preordained questions,
right,
pre-set up questions. And the goof was, his name was Kevin Smith.
That was cute.
So yeah, they did about an hour, maybe even 45 minutes tops.
Probably about 45 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Which is very short.
Yeah, and I recorded the whole set.
When you see Kevin...
On video.
45 minutes is a quickie.
Yeah, and at some point I'll post that on YouTube. But, and I know at one point, I think that I didn't pay attention and I was off center for a good, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But, anyway.
Maybe that's something good.
So after this, I sent Kevin a text saying, I realized I wanted, because the kids didn't come back with us at that point. I really wanted him to meet the kids. So I sent him a text saying, from Maura's phone, of course.
And did he ever respond to it?
No, he didn't, but I know he got it because of what he said. So, and he was he wasn't surprised to see us when we came around.
Oh, okay.
So we made our way through, which was really a big deal. The crowd, because a lot of people went to go, figured he would be departing from there.
Oh, so a lot of the fans were back there, because I stayed behind.
There was quite a bunch. There was because you had to guard the stuff, and you've met Kevin.
I met him.
So I brought the kids.
It's so funny.
And again, he was kind of people were pushing us off, saying, "Oh, please don't." He's about to leave now. Please, no more fans. And I just kind of, passive resistance. Yeah. I didn't back off, but I didn't necessarily, go away. So I just kind of waited until he saw us, and then we went over, and he's like, "I just want to introduce you to my kids. This is Cameron and Maura." And he says Cameron's name wrong first. I think he said Aaron or something. But I said, "No, Cameron." And then when he got to Maura, I said, "And this is Maura. I believe you guys already have already exchanged phone numbers." And he's like, "Oh, and I'll try not to use it too much, I promise." And it was just funny because earlier I had told him, when we first met up, I told him about the phone. I said, "Don't worry." I told her, "If she ever uses this number, I'll kill her." And he chuckled. But so we ended up there. Where was I? And so he said he went to the kids and he was like, felt very perfunctory, like he was doing it because out of obligation or something. But he's like, "Oh, your father is a good guy and he's a good, he's doing a lot for podcasting and he's an innovator," and just sort of
really nice,
a string of compliments, which I was like, I felt weird because it's I knew he was kind of doing it because he was meeting my kids. So, yeah. So I'm sure I was blushing. It was really cool. It was another one of those moments. And
he meant it.
I don't do a lot for the kids, or you do what you can for your kids. So for me, that was sort of a big thing, being able to share that with them. So I don't know.
That meant a lot.
What'd they say about it?
Cameron said, I said, what did Kevin say about Dad? He said that he was a good man.
Oh.
So that's what
Cameron's takeaway was.
If that wasn't exactly what he said, Cameron heard he's a good man.
Yeah. Well, so
like us girls, all you girls out there know, when someone says something like that about you, all you have to say is thank you.
Well, that's what I did. I said thank you. But the unfortunate thing was we didn't get a picture with the kids and him. Time. But yeah, that was what I was thinking. I'm like, and it felt really weird. He was trying to get out of there. Jen was in the car, I'm sure, waiting, and like, so I didn't want to overextend. I didn't want to overstay. So at that point,
right,
chicken nod out the door, and kids and I, and then we went back and we watched fucking Mallrats, Maura's first time.
You guys came and sat down right when it started.
I know, it was great. It was great.
It was a good movie. It was fun. Cute.
Yeah, and it was great. That was Maura's first time seeing it, and the rest of the night was pretty damn cool.
It was. And we were home by 11:30.
Yeah. And then seeing that Kev posted that picture this morning, it was like, okay, we're free to talk and whatever about it. So, I mean, if he's posting it, it's out there.
He's going to talk about it. He has to talk about it with Scotty Moe.
So there you go. That's my perspective on what happened with Hitchbot and everything else that evening. And I guess it's a good time to wrap this sucker up. I love hearing listeners and friends say, you're smart and good to us or to whomever, because it is cool. It means it's kind of catching on a little bit. So
yes,
and it is a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful thing to say to somebody.
It's a nice thing to say, and it feels good when someone says it to you.
Yes, it does.
So spread a little love and cheer. Tell someone they're smart and good.
Yes, and if you have not been told that you are smart and good today, then consider us telling you guys are smart and good if for only listening to this stupid show. And we'll see you next week, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Push it
get him, that man.